Hello baby gangsters, this is Calvin, also known as Ormer, and this is my first ever playthrough of Genshin Impact. Don't mind why I was on fire there. Sometimes people are just on fire, okay? We're going to talk to Faruzan for the first time, which I'm very excited to do because we've had her on the team for a bit. Oh,
restrictions have
Tanari!
significantly relaxed. I'm still a bit worried that the Matra might give her trouble.
Okay.
I need to stay here to keep an eye on the situation. Kale, can
Kale
you head
too?
to Sumeru City and find out why she isn't here yet?
So they must be talking about Faruzan.
Does it have to be me?
It's so interesting seeing Kalei like out of the... Yeah, it's so cool. Any chance we can see Kalei and Tanari again, I'm all for
I'd
it.
only assign a job this important to someone I trust. Are you not feeling well?
I don't know why I'm like, this makes me so excited.
I'm fine. I've completely recovered. It's just that if I'm going to see her...
Wait, what?
I think I need to mentally prepare myself.
Mentally prepare for Faruzan?
I know. You'll have a tough time if you go by yourself.
Oh my
If
god!
we could arrange for someone to accompany you.
I will accompany Kalei. Are you kidding me? In a predicament, I see?
Oh, hey there!
Oh, Kalei, how are you?
It's been a while. What a coincidence.
Tanari!
I was just thinking about asking you to accompany Kale to Sumeru City.
Why'd you think of me?
Sorry, that's not what I meant. It's just that this matter concerns research banned by the academia. Not the sort of thing you'd shout from the rooftops.
I thought he was like, you could protect Kalei, which I will.
Also, you happen to know about this situation. There are very few people I can trust to be discreet right now. After giving it much thought, I believe you're the most suitable person for this task.
No problem, man. Research banned by the
It's
academia?
complicated, and this isn't the best place to talk about it. We'll fill you in on the details once she arrives.
The way they've been talking about Faruzan, though, like, I'm super excited to see what type of personality she had. Who's
You
she?
might have heard about her in Sumeru before. Her name is Faruzan, and she's a very experienced senior researcher.
So I was doing Faruzan. Very Irish, as usual. Faruzan. Faruzan it is.
Let's just say that a huge part of Kasharawar's mechanical research over the past 100 years has used her academic discourse and manuscripts as their foundation.
Yeah, 100 years?
She is, but she vanished for 100 years because of a certain incident.
What?
She only returned to the academia after being found in the
What?
wilderness a few years ago. Because of that, her current personality can be a bit, strange, as is her attitude towards
Wait, what
Kale.
type of attitude does she have towards Kalei?
I'm getting a headache just thinking about it.
Oh, poor girl.
She doesn't have bad intentions, so you don't have to be scared.
Right. So she seems like she's a very eccentric type of person.
Try.
Do we really have to invite her here?
Yes. Kasharawar and Spontamod researchers are often quite prejudiced, so I can't trust them with this matter.
Okay.
However, Faruzan isn't influenced by modern thinking. In our previous correspondence through letters, she indicated that she'd be willing to help. It's already past our arranged meeting time, but she still hasn't shown up.
I wonder, did she get caught by the
I don't
academia?
think so. With her personality, it's more likely that she got wrapped up in some sort of trouble. Anyway, can you go with Kale to the academia and check on Faruzan for me?
No problem.
Thank goodness. I was so anxious.
I'm counting on you two. Kale, don't push yourself too hard. Just go there and see what's going on.
Man, the concern this man has for his daughter
Our task
is
is
amazing.
important, but not that urgent. If Faruzan really is in some trouble, come back and tell me about it. We can always reschedule our meeting.
Man.
After all, if she's distracted by other things, it'll affect her ability to help us.
All right, let's go.
Kalei with a bit of enthusiasm as well. We're traveling with Kalei.
Oh yes, and one more thing. You might find her difficult to get along with at first.
That's just the style we like.
However, if you address her as Madam, she'll become much easier to talk to.
Oh. Okay. We like a character who's a bit prickly at the start, and then you break through to their personality. We like that. So find Faruzan at the academy. Super excited for this. It kind of gives me the vibes when we first met Ayato as well.
Sorry, what did you say? Oh, could you repeat yourself?
No.
As you know, I'm sure, hearing goes with age.
You are over 100 years old.
Faruzan, I said that you need to give us an answer.
Yes. And did you forget to add madam when you
Oh
dressed
god.
me earlier?
The fist in the air as well.
Your hearing is perfectly fine. Madam Faruzan, we don't want to make things difficult for you. However, you haven't been teaching courses or supervising theses these past few years.
Okay.
Isn't this rather problematic as an advisor? Never mind the students. Even other advisors are starting to complain.
Let them
And
complain.
who, if I may ask, complained? If they have any issue with me, tell them to talk to me themselves rather than waste any of your time.
I kind of love her. I kind of love, like, yeah, man. Talk to her.
You don't have to tell me anything. I very well know that it's those people from Haravatat. How I wish they'd put their time into doing proper research instead.
I kind of like the prickly attitude. I'm not gonna lie.
Madam Faruzan, it has been a long while since you last made any practical academic contribution yourself.
Bro, she got lost for 100 years. She can do whatever she wants.
Ahem. Academic contribution cannot simply be divided between the tangible and the intangible. The issue here, I believe, is that the reviewer doesn't understand the very nature of knowledge itself. In any case, it makes no sense to use a metric like this to evaluate a mentor. Which sage set this rule anyway? I should write a letter of complaint right this instant.
Wait! Madam Faruzan, please let me
Look how
finish.
she flipped this around. We all know that type of person who like gets in trouble and they have to flip it around really
That's
easily.
her, all right. But the person with her doesn't look like a Matra.
She looks, yeah, she's very, very good complexion. Looks very young.
She hates it when people call her young.
I kind of believe we're getting to go on a journey with Clay, even if it is during a hangout.
Body apparently stopped aging during the year she was gone. So that's why she looks the same as she did 100 years ago.
What in the world happened to her?
Okay, I think I'm ready for this. Let's go.
Yeah, it's okay. You can do it.
Anyway, Akara Crafts and the leader of Kasharawar would like to invite you to collaborate on this project. They're wondering if you'd be interested. Madam Faruzan? Are you listening?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Kale, why are you here at the academia? Are you
Look at
feeling
this.
better now?
Look at that little pose.
I'm much better, Madam Faruzan. It's all thanks to the Traveler and the Dendro Archon.
Oh.
Have you been sleeping well? You seem to be developing some eye bags. Is that Brat Tainari forcing you
Brat?
to stay up late again? No, it's because I'm a slow learner. It's
Oh
not
my God.
Master's fault.
That's kind of like, I don't know. Sometimes you need someone like this in your life, right?
It's good to be hardworking, but you need to take care of your health. I'll have to give Tainari a right talking to when I see him. I'll also prepare some health supplements for you.
I think she's brilliant.
There's really no need. Ah, and is the person beside you the legendary Traveler?
Pleasure to meet your acquaintance, madame.
Oh, I've heard much about you before. In fact, I've been meaning to meet you for a while now.
Oh, for real? Same.
It is thanks to you, after all, that the Academia is finally getting back on its feet. Even Kali's illness is...
Ahem. Madam Faruzan, I believe we were still discussing the collaboration with Akara Crafts.
Look at this backdrop.
I'd wager it's those Kasharawar Dunderheads finding excuses so that I'd go to their Darshan. Say no more. I have no plans to change my field of research.
Dunderhead is such a great insult.
If you're this unwilling to participate in the collaborative project, you can also consider teaching a class. It might be difficult to teach a course with topics that only fall within Haravatat's subjects, but we can't delay this anymore. You need to give an answer. You can teach a course or participate in a collaborative project. If you don't do either, it'll be hard for me to persuade the advisors and students who have been complaining.
So, what we're getting from this is that she is supposed to be an advisor to the students. She's supposed to be like a contributor to the academia, but she hasn't actually contributed anything in a while, and she's not teaching any students very well, at the very least. It sounds like some internal academia. This seems to have nothing to do with Shinari's request.
Could you
Yeah,
give me a few more days to consider? This matter has been delayed for so long already.
give her a few
That's
days.
precisely the issue. If you don't give an answer today, I fear that someone will soon escalate their complaints to the sages.
What a waste of free time these folks are.
I can put in a good word with the
And now
sages.
you two are here at Tainari's behest, I take it. I'm sorry, but given the current situation, it looks like I'll have to come over some other day.
Okay. Calais seems like she wants to say something. Please give me a moment with Calais.
Of course. I shall need some time to think as well. What now? She seems so busy.
It's okay. Like, honestly, Calais, like, from what I know from you from back reading the manga, right, and from back in your time in Mondstadt, this is even a big deal for you to, like, go on this big journey. Like, this is something that, like, I never expected from when I first met you, or when we first saw you in the manga. So I'm so proud of you already. You made a big step here. Especially, like, and I know she's probably already doing this stuff when I wasn't around anyway, because obviously, clearly, Tanari has a big confidence in her. But still, like, you know, it's a big deal, especially just recently being cured.
Master said there's no rush, but I know that he's been busy working on something at Party's DI, so he hasn't returned to Gandharville for several days now.
Oh, he hasn't been home.
I feel for Madame Faruzan, but I still want to ask her to come with us.
Right.
But if I get her in trouble with the academia, then she won't have the time to help Master. What should I do? Oh, this is such a headache.
We can try to figure something out. Let's help her resolve her current problem first. Let's think of some ways to get her to Paris Dia. So let's try
that would
solve her
be
current
best
problem.
for them
Yeah.
both. I'll check with Master later and see if there's anything I can help him with. But I'm sure he'll say, the best thing you can do now is study hard, so I don't have to give you remedial lessons.
Oh my god. Doing an impression of her dad. I can stay and help Faruzan.
Huh? Oh yes. This way she can get her problem sorted out quickly, and then she can go see Master. So if I also stay and help, that still sounds kind of scary.
You don't have to force yourself, right? You don't
Okay,
have
then.
to.
I'm counting on you.
I'm counting on you. Our girl Kali.
I have to teach students from Haravatat or owe Kasharawar a favor. It strikes me that they might be even less happy about such a deal than I am.
I think I can sympathize with them.
We're back, Madame Faruzan.
Kali is the sweetest thing that ever
The traveler
existed.
said that he can stay and help you. Oh, why I couldn't ask for more. In fact, I'm rather curious about the type of person the traveler is. You were the one who taught Azara a lesson after all. That said, will I be troubling you?
It's no trouble at all.
That's so. Good. It does so happen that I do have something I need help with.
Anything.
Now, should I apply to teach a course with Haravatat, or join the collaborative project that Kasharawar is proposing? Honestly, I don't want to choose either of them.
So do we have to choose for her? Tell me more about the course. Let's hear about the collaborative project. Let's hear
You
about the
might
course
have heard
first.
of it before. Haravatat is an academic faction that researches languages and runes. 100 years ago, Madame Faruzan was a researcher from that darshan.
Now, not was. Still am.
Still am.
Yes, of course. But current Haravatat students can't really, understand her direction of research.
Oh?
So even if she opened a course, chances are that no one would attend.
Direction of research. Man, I don't know. I guess they're talking about the understanding aspect of it for sure. Because like, I think I'd attend at least one class as well, just because, you know, someone that was alive 100 years ago.
In summary, I mean to interpret the configurations and solutions of ruin mechanisms via the deciphering of on-site stone carvings and unearthed documents. It'll include research into general documents dealing with such ancient machines.
Okay, so she's talking about, yeah, the idea of like rune golems, rune guardians, and deciphering them through stone carvings. Is that what she's saying? And documents. It'll include research and
The
okay.
research method is supported by Haravatat, yes, but the content deals heavily with both ruins and mechanisms. This will make it difficult for students of this darshan
Right.
because they don't understand much about mechanisms.
And as well, like maybe doing field trips would probably be very dangerous.
Also, there are fewer and fewer unexplored ruins left nowadays, and
Oh.
Kasharawar researchers have been developing their own theories on mechanisms. As such, they don't need to rely on ancient documents.
She's doing very
They're far
niche
too
research.
complacent. Ancient mechanisms are more dangerous and complex than one might imagine.
Right.
I'm telling you, things weren't like this 100 years ago. All researchers back then were interested in exploring knowledge from a variety of topics. They also gave more respect to unknown mechanisms.
It's so interesting to have someone who was alive 100 years ago to be able to give us like this type of information. I know we've had a lot of characters who've been alive for hundreds of years, like, you know, like Archons and you know, Yakshas and all this stuff. Like it definitely is like, but like I feel like in this situation it's a tiny bit different because like they're more on the ground level in terms of like their commonality with people.
Nowadays, all people are interested in are mainstream subjects in popular research. Even if they attended my course, I wouldn't be interested in teaching them.
Yeah, you tell them.
Also,
you tell them.
People here think that my research is outdated and unrealistic, so they keep cutting my funding.
Let's go talk to them right now.
I think they could all stand to learn from Kale. She's a hard-working child and respects her elders.
I love her. Faruzan, we agree.
Huh? Why me?
Because you're amazing.
If only those who came to my lectures were more like you. Speaking of which, are you feeling better? You don't have to confine yourself to Gandharvaville anymore, right? I just remembered that I have a lot of studying to do. I need to head back and find Master.
Wait, are we going to have Kalei be the student? Kalei needs to learn how to read, and you need to teach a course.
Are you telling me to start a reading course for Kale? Huh?
Wait.
This would be sweet.
Although Tainari has academic dealings with the academia, he isn't considered part of it. This means that Kale isn't technically a student.
Does she have to hold this class in the academia?
No, he's right. The old academia became consumed by their arrogance precisely because they ignored the public.
There you go. There you go.
There must surely be many people like Kale and Sumeru who are passionate about learning, but cannot study due to various reasons. The old academia paid no heed to them. But if I start a reading course for Kale as a pilot, perhaps this shall come to benefit many more people in the future.
I'll need to go back and ask if this is in accordance with regulations.
It is. I say it is.
Oh, save yourself the extra trouble. I'll come with you. If there's any arguments to be had, we shall sweep them aside together. Traveler, Kale, do wait for us a little while outside the academia. I'll be back in just a moment. Wait! Let's catch up with her.
Really neat stuff. Yeah, like her character seems like very, like she's not oblivious. It's more like a how do I say? It's like it really feels like that aunt that will come to like visit, who like, you know, the dad Tanari or Sino are like kind of like, your aunt's coming to visit today. And it's like, she's so forward, and she's so like, cause like they say nice things like, oh my god, you're growing up so fast. Oh my god, let me see that cheek right there. You know what I mean? Like they're so forceful, but they're like, it's in a very loving way, if that makes sense. But they always like will say something that's like, oh, that's a bit weird, you know? You just said something very weird, auntie. That's what the vibes I'm getting here are.
I can't believe she rushed right in after we arrived. She's really headstrong.
Super headstrong, you're right.
How did things turn out like this?
Did I end up giving her a bad idea?
No, not really. Madame Faruzan is a brilliant scholar. Even Master thinks so. If she's really going to teach me how to read, it'll definitely be much better than me bashing my head against the wall.
Fair enough.
It's just that she can get a bit too passionate sometimes. I don't know how to handle that.
The way she treats you is completely different from how she treats the researchers. Yeah.
Maybe it's because she wants to take me in as a student?
She's very much like looking out for you in a very like auntie kind of way.
It's just like that researcher said. The academia has completely changed during the 100 years that Faruzan was gone. I don't really get it, but it does seem like Haravatat's students aren't optimistic about the prospects of doing research with her.
They can't see the vision.
Students who are interested in mechanisms and applications of the elements generally enroll in Kasharawar and Spontamod. Madame Faruzan also refuses to accept random students just to make up numbers. She still hasn't found a student she likes, even after all this time back.
Yeah, it's like a teacher with no students. Like, is it like, you know, a hammer without a nail?
But she seems to like my attitude toward learning, so she often asks me if I'm willing to become her student.
So she definitely has wanted this for a while.
It's because I'm a slow learner that I have no choice but to stay up late and study. Whenever she compliments me, I feel really guilty.
No, but like, I think it's really sweet that like that there's this aspect to Kalei is that she's very dedicated, but she's also just a slow learner, which is okay. So you're scared of her because she kept asking you to become her student?
It's not that.
my choices. She hasn't been trying to persuade me, especially since she knows I need to rest and recuperate.
That's fair. That's more than fair.
She sometimes brings food to Gandharville for me, and each time she says that Master can't find out.
That sounds like something a grandmother might do for her granddaughter. Yeah, grandmother vibes too.
Now that you mention it, it does feel a bit like that. Do I really look that young?
Kale, Traveler, thank you for waiting. The issue has been resolved.
That was fast. It was super fast.
I argued with the higher-ups and convinced them of the practicality and necessity of educating the general public.
I mean, you were right too. Like, you know, we can't be stuffy and inside ourselves with the academia anymore.
If I'm not mistaken, they're the students of my classmates' students. They're a lot less forceful than their predecessors, though. I'd say they caved rather quickly.
Amazing.
Were they convinced or were they coerced?
It's just that we need to fill in every single page of the application. It's been a century, but the academia is as picky as ever. Let's see now. What do we need to fill in? Course name, learning objectives, teaching methods, course materials. I suppose we can fill in the course name last.
Our learning objective is to teach people to read, right? Which I think is a very, like, nice objective.
That's a bit too general, I'd say. After all, this class's target audience isn't toddlers or children, but rather people who already know the basics of reading.
Yeah.
As such, we'll need a more specific learning objective. How about proficiency in reading and writing?
That's true. If we use children's teaching materials, we'll only end up wasting a lot of time on things that students would already know.
So true, Kale. Our Kale, she's so
and
right.
You have your job as a forest ranger, Kale. People who attend this course in the future are also likely to have life commitments. We need more effective teaching methods.
So other than teaching materials for children, what other learning methods does Kale use?
Master always tells me that practice is the best way to learn.
True.
That's why I often ask him to help me find simple books to read.
No, that's so right. You're so right, Kale. Same with writing. Just writing over and over again. Just that's all you do, you know? Playing the Gita, anything. You just practice.
It must have been difficult to get books in Sumeru in recent years, no? Tainari really went the extra mile for you.
Yeah, he did.
Expanding literacy is a capital notion. Now that the academia is easing restrictions on the circulation of books, there should be more people who have become interested in reading. It's a great time to conduct this course.
So we've got teaching methods sorted out. How do we choose the course materials then?
So that's next on the list. I fear that I'm at a loss as to which books youngsters like nowadays. Would The Legend of Antara be too old of a story?
If even a Centurion likes you finds the tale old, how old is that story exactly?
Fair. Kale, what have you been reading lately?
Music is fantastic here, isn't it?
Me? I've been reading light novels from Inazuma. I heard that ever since we were allowed to sell books in Sumeru again, some people set up stalls at Treasure Street to sell light novels. I've been meaning to go there and check it out.
That's freaking awesome, by the way. Because, like, think about it. Like, the connection Inazuma opened up, Sumeru opened up to novels and books. So, like, it opened up like a kind of like a trade route, which is awesome. Man, to get the books here, though, holy hell. You're talking about you have to travel from Inazuma to Liyue, then to Sumeru. You know what I mean? You're talking about a time to travel. I guess you could travel around the water, though.
Light novels? This is my first time hearing about such a thing, but I doubt I will procure suitable teaching materials from the House of Dana. Treasure Street it is.
You understand? Light novels are
Wait
beautiful.
for us, Madame Faruzan.
Clay's
You
the
didn't think
sweetest.
someone as fast as her is over 100. Let's pick up the pace and catch up to her.
I mean, like, I really do like the aspect of a character who likes being called old. You know, that's such a nice little touch because it's usually like the other way around, isn't it? Over here. Oh, it's up above. I went too far. Put the monster symbol over there. That's intentional. Oh yeah, I'll give a little update on the characters and how we're leveling them. There's not really that much of an update. It's more just like one or two that we have leveled up. I don't know if we leveled up. Like, say, I don't know if we have. Yeah, we didn't get a price or anything. I'll just show you really quickly. We leveled up. That's the wrong place. We leveled up. That's the wrong place. we leveled up Layla. And she's now level 80, which is nice. Mostly just because collecting these two materials was the easiest thing in the world to do. It was so easy. Kalei is on the verge. I don't think we have enough gold to level her up, but she's on the verge of basically becoming level 60, which is pretty good. And we have enough mushrooms to level her up fully and enough of these things. She is fine. Like, she is going to be leveled up in like the next few days to level 80, and then we can start working on our artifacts. Then we have Faruzan, who is obviously like a little bit trickier because obviously we have these. And Beth, getting this stuff out of Beth is like, it's so hard to get this type of material out of Beth, but we can try. We can continue to try. I'll have to fight Beth a bunch of times. Maybe we can actually get... Oh, we could. Yeah, we could get it off him. Like, this. Okay, then that's fine. Off the Dune of Illusion. That's perfect, actually. Perfect. There's the update.
A long and mildly ungrammatical title. And why is the cover so colorful?
Is this your first time seeing a light novel, man?
She really is like,
They're the most
like a
popular
grandma.
books nowadays. Would you like me to recommend something?
Fine. One shouldn't judge a book by its cover after all. Maybe browse through the books here.
Of course. Why don't you try this one? It's Outlander Brigade, When the Wind of Death Blew Towards the Blonde Samurai.
Wow.
I heard that this book's author describes action in vivid detail.
Now I've only skimmed through a few pages, but it feels like it's all fight scenes. There are only subjects and predicates, and the syntax is a tad simple.
Subjects?
The protagonist just ends up fighting in every
Sorry about
scene
that,
with
Clay.
no proper build-up. Will anyone even enjoy a story that's only comprised of fights?
Let me introduce you to the concept of some animes, right? There might be people out there who will. It's for readers who don't care about plot, I suppose. But you can have a story told through violence. For sure you can.
How about... the good thing about being reincarnated as a hilly churl is that I only need to eat Sunsetias to become stronger.
Yeah, true.
A reincarnation isekai story? Those are pretty popular right now.
Isekai? What in the world is that? Also, why does it become stronger by eating Sunsetias?
So an isekai is a story about when someone goes to like another world. I think ReZero is probably the best example I can give of the one I watch in terms of isekais.
Tropes? Those fictional rules used to push the plot forward, yes? They're definitely effective in achieving a distancing effect.
Sorry. What is this distancing effect?
Is it how distance you want to be away from the books?
However, this book doesn't explain how reincarnation correlates to becoming stronger. Such an illogical rule will affect the coherence of the story. Will readers really accept this?
A lot of people do suspend their disbelief with stuff like this, you know? There might be people out there who will.
How about this? I had to fight tooth and nail to get this in stock.
Okay.
Oh, that's the latest volume of Onibudo!
Now that's a rather normal title length. Oh, Kale, do you like this
She's
series?
an old lady. She's an old lady.
Yes, but
That's fine, I
I
guess.
don't like it that much.
She clearly recognizes the latest volume with a single glance.
Madam, are you going to use this series as teaching material?
Let me see. The dialogue flows quite well, but there are too many phrases here that I don't recognize. Third eye of perception, illusory mirror, and so on. Are these terms that are tied to tropes?
I also thought those names were strange when I was reading them.
She was able to say those phrases in such a serious tone.
It's impossible to derive the meaning of these phrases in isolation. Also, their morphological properties are quite pedestrian, really. Or did the protagonist purposely create these strange names to disorient their foes?
I think it's because such names are cool. I think it's because the names are fancy.
So there's no deeper purpose. Hi. It's quite hard to understand stories written these days.
I mean, it depends on like what stories you're reading, I suppose. Like, I think like they're trying to like portray. Again, I don't read light novels, but like I think they're trying to portray like the idea of a light novel as maybe being like something that is kind of tropey sometimes, and maybe something that people kind of want to be a bit tropey. They don't want it to be the most realistic thing in the world all the time.
You're right. It's such a weird book. But you keep wanting to read the next page.
Even the most popular book in Sumeru back then had greater depth than anything written today.
The most popular book back then?
Yes. A Bahumano researcher wrote it while researching folk legends. The plot had many twists. The world building was fantastic, and even the writing could withstand scrutiny. When it was still being published, many people in the academia were reading it.
I do love hearing about stuff that she cares about too, you know?
Even the sages back then all described the story as a timeless classic. The series must have concluded after so many years, right?
Oh no, what if she can't
Even
find
more
it?
popular now.
Maybe we should try and find it.
Is there a book like that in Sumeru? I've never heard of such a thing before. What's the title?
It's called Tales of Shariar. Do you sell it here?
Tales of Shariar? I don't think I've heard of that before. When was it published?
100 years ago, maybe?
About 100 years ago.
Yep.
100 years ago? Are you pulling my leg? What sort of book can remain popular for 100 years?
I think there are answers to that, right? Like, I say, like, maybe not popular, but I'm assuming that Lord of the Rings, you know, will be popular for hundreds and hundreds of years.
The Legend of Antara is popular to this very day, isn't it? I just heard someone telling it a few days ago in a cafe. If an old story like that is still being shared, then Tales of Shariar must be even more popular.
You know why this reminds me now of a grandmother is because, like, you know, so many times, like, when, you know, you be talking to your grandmother and she's like, you talk about, like, the new, like, movie, new horror movie coming out, and they'll mention a horror movie from when they were kids. Nothing's gonna beat that. There's nothing as good as that. Dracula was the best, you know? And I just love that aspect, you know? You can't beat the old ones, like oldies but goodies.
Even if that is the case, I really don't carry that book here in my store.
What? Is that because of the academia's strict control over books in recent years? I can't believe they've allowed the people of Sumeru to become so uncivilized. How can they not know about the Tales of Shariar?
Tales of Shariar? Oh, wait. I think I heard an antique seller on the other end of Treasure Street mention that name before.
Okay, that's good.
I mean, it is a book from 100 years ago. Why don't you try asking for it there?
Tales of Shariar is considered an antique now?
Oh my god, that has to
How
hurt.
could let such an excellent work of literature be forgotten like this?
Isn't that like when, like, I don't get hurt by it because it doesn't bother me, but you know when people online are like, man, you're calling the PlayStation 2 retro, and it's like, yeah, it is.
Traveler, Kale, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Let's meet at the antique sellers.
To me, the biggest leap... Oh, she's just gone again.
Madam, wait! Oh,
Yep,
no.
she's gone.
This is bad.
What's wrong?
You asked me why I'm scared of Madame Faruzan, right? It's not because I don't know how to respond to her kindness.
Yeah?
It's because I'm afraid of that ancient language she researches, because I can barely understand any of it. What if she uses ancient texts as teaching material?
The book's only 100 years old, right?
Even so, what if researchers from 100 years ago like to use ancient languages in their books? We've got to catch up to her.
It's no, I think it's an okay concern to have, especially when you're trying to learn how to read. That you want to have the best type of like information in front of you, you know, and like especially with stuff that's like, you know, learning how to read is already difficult. So having to like learn how to read with like a very difficult piece of literature is even harder, you know. Because she's just like, again, I love the way she's just like camping right out here already. Look, show me the book.
Found it!
Show me the book right now.
The 5th volume of Tales of Shariar.
Wow, you actually found it.
I never thought this book would ever get sold.
All right, that's our teaching material secured. We also now know what to call this course. Analysis of classical texts.
Oh, classical
After all,
texts.
This book is definitely worthy of being called a classic.
Can I take a look? Luckily, the language being used here isn't
Oh.
ancient at all. I can recognize a few words here and there.
That's so good.
Huh? But why aren't there pictures in this book?
Yeah, where's the
As
pictures?
long as the writing is good, readers won't need any illustrations to imagine the scenes.
No, we need the pictures. And if they pop out, it's double points.
Worry not. I shall thoroughly explain the difficult sections. You'll like this book. I know it.
I mean, I only read manga, so like, I generally do need pictures.
After all this time, I wonder if Aaliyah and Aziz ended up together. And who obtained the desert gem in the end? Sir, do you have the subsequent volumes of this series?
I don't think so.
Is that so? And here I thought I could finally read the ending. Never mind, I'll keep searching for the later volumes myself. If I'm to use it as a teaching material, it's better to start earlier in the series. Where are the first 4 volumes? Why aren't they all together?
I don't have those either.
That's interesting when he has
Actually,
volume
this is the only
5.
volume I have.
Is this series really that popular?
Oh, look at this! Look at that sweet face.
No. It's not popular at all. Rather, there's absolutely
Oh.
no demand for it.
No demand? Impossible. Back then, I'd come across at least 3 groups of people talking about it during a single stroll at the academia.
That is 100 years ago, though.
Seriously? No one told me that this book was anything special when I first got it.
Where did you get this from? Can you still contact the seller?
Let me see. Let me speak to the manager.
I'm afraid not. This book was sold together with a whole bunch of antique furniture. I didn't even notice it initially.
Honestly, like, I'm not saying Clay would be the type of person, like, the type of dude or type of girl or type of person to walk up to someone and be like, hey, let me speak to you about it. It'd be kind of difficult. I think she's just very passionate about this, you know what I mean? That's why she wants to find out the name of the seller. She wants to find the book.
Otherwise, the mantra would have come knocking. Wait, is this book actually worth a lot? It can't be, right?
I'm afraid not.
That's impossible. No matter how strict the academia was, there's no way Tales of Shariar could have fallen into such a state.
They were pretty bad.
I do remember a
The
passerby
academia.
skimming through the book a few days ago. However, he simply sighed and left.
He sighed? Why would he react like that? Given the quality of Tales of Shariar, he should have been entranced after a single glance.
I actually adore her personality.
I'm sorry. Traveler, Kale, please give me a moment. I'd like to look through this book first.
You take your time. Farzan, quickly,
Why
flip through the
is there
pages.
another misunderstanding between Ali and Aziz? Also, why is there no mention of the Desert Gem at all? And a new character is introduced with no foreshadowing at all? Also, what are all these new names and terms?
Oh, is it like a
Is
remaster?
this really the Tales of Shariar I know?
Was it, maybe it was re-released a bunch of times, because that happens with, like, novels.
Well, that passerby reacted in much the same way.
Oh, so they were passionate about it too. Who was the passerby in any
It's the doc
case?
from the cafe over there. You know, the fellow who spends all day telling the legend of Antara. Since that's also a very old story, maybe he knows a thing or two about that, Tales of, whatever it's called.
Beautiful music.
Then let's go ask around at the cafe. Huh?
Look at
Madam
Kale's
Faruzan?
design, by the way. Like, such a cool design as well.
Huh? Oh, yes. Let's go.
Man, like, it feels so bad, like, when something you like, is not as, like, I guess, cool as you thought it was, or maybe it's, like, has a different perception of it. And I wonder, in this sense, is it, like, a situation where, like, maybe they re-released it a few times, maybe they changed the characters around a few times. Bam. You never know. You never know with this stuff. I feel like we all have a series sometimes that, like, changes the way to do things, and, like, then it kind of is a bit disappointing, and you have to move on.
Another day, another empty room.
Excuse me? But are you Mada?
Yes. Are you here to listen to my story?
No.
Well, we actually came to ask about something else.
I see.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm used to it, more or less. So, how can this terribly unpopular storyteller help you?
Jesus, that's rough, man.
Do you know about Tales of Shariar?
Huh? Tales of Shariar? Why, I can barely remember the last time anyone talked about it. My master always talked about how incredibly popular that book used to
Your
be.
master.
However, I tried reciting a few chapters of it at the cafe, and I found that it's even less popular than the Legend of Antara.
Your master?
Yeah, that's this pose is so cute. It's so, look at this. So cute.
Yes, the one who taught me how to be a storyteller. He said that Tales of Shariar was written by his master's master's master. He also said that this great-great-grandmaster was an academia researcher, and that even the sages liked the series. He wrote 4 volumes back then, and the reviews just got better and better. You couldn't find a single person in Sumeru who hadn't read his books.
Wow.
And then? What happened next? Why doesn't anyone know about Tales of Shariar now?
Oh, it's hard to tell when it comes to trends. One day everyone likes stories like that, and the next day their tastes change completely.
That is true. Like, it is like, and I always just think like it's crazy how like the world is like, it feels like a hive mind sometimes, the way like, you know, in 1 week, like, and it is the way things go because it's just everyone like has similar ideas sometimes. Like if you watch like a TV show, like say like The Walking Dead or something, like say like that show used to be like the highest amount of people watching the TV show, and then like 1 week all of a sudden you see like a dip in like 4 million people, and you're like 4 million people at the exact same time are like, I'm not watching next week. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's the accurate numbers. It's probably less than that. But like, you know what I mean? It's so weird to think about that. Or like wrestling. Like you'll have a wrestling show that like has like 900,000 to 1 million viewers, and then 1 week all of a sudden 150,000 people are like, I'm just not watching this week, and they all have the same idea to not watch, and things will dip. It's crazy how things work like that.
Instead of writing a proper ending, this great-great-grandmaster kept trying to extend the story.
Okay.
To tap into popular trends, he added a lot of tropes. Then, starting from the 5th volume, the reviews started to go downhill.
Right, this can happen. This can definitely happen.
How could that be? Then what happened to Tales of Shariar in the end?
In the end, there's no ending. The great-great-grandmaster tried to write a few more volumes, following whatever trends were popular at the time, but the trends kept changing right as he published his books. He got so infuriated that he stopped writing altogether and focused on his research instead.
So it was like when people stopped caring about his work, he stopped caring too?
What? So there's no ending? The readers didn't care?
By that time, only a very small number of people were reading Tales of Shariar.
Can you imagine like, this is like, can you imagine if like the next region after Natlan comes out, and people are like, oh, I don't really like this region. Then the people at Genshin are like, well, we're not doing it anymore then. And you just never get an ending.
Anyway, my master probably exaggerated. How could a work possibly have been that popular? The only tangible thing my great-great-grandmaster left is the original draft of Legend of Antara.
There you go.
He also left behind many theses from his research phase. When my master talked about Legend of Antara, he'd even quote from those theses. My master is a much better storyteller than me. Even when we're telling the same story about Antara, he's always able to draw in a huge crowd. But even he won't recite Tales of Shariar due to its ever-changing writing style and its lack of an ending.
So, Antara's story is the one that lasted through the years.
Well, not even sages can definitively ascertain the quality of something like a story. In the end, only time can separate the classics from the fads.
I actually kind of... Sorry, I went right into the mic. I actually kind of agree with this quite a bit. I was actually thinking about the idea of like the difference in video games between like a phenom and a phenomenon versus like just a game that's super popular. You can have a game that's like is the most popular game of the year, right? But like if nobody's talking about it a year later, like it's not the same thing as like a cultural phenomenon, or not the same thing as like a shift in like video game culture. You know what I mean? Like you can look at something like, whether people like it or not, something like Persona 5, people still talk about it in both good and bad lights years later. Same with Breath of the Wild, same with Elden Ring. Even when you're insulting it, you are adding to that culture. You are adding to that idea of it being a phenomenon. You know what I mean? Because people still talk about it. The worst death a game could have is for nobody to be talking about it, you know?
Only time? Madame Faruzan? It's been 100 years. Perhaps some things I once believed to be great aren't so after all.
You know, I think you don't have to worry about that. The story decline might have been due to changing trends. It doesn't matter if it's a classic or a fad. What matters is if you like it. Exactly. That's another thing. It matters what you like.
Yeah! Master helped me find a lot of famous books at first, but in the end, I realized that I couldn't get into them. No matter how good those stories are, I can't improve my skills if I can't bring myself to read them in the first place.
True.
I think the best books for me are the ones I like.
Yeah, the problem here is not actually about improving your reading skills, but I suppose the principle is the same. Yeah, but like, the principle is 100% the same.
Huh.
Yeah.
Indeed. That is true. Readers' interests and trends of a time are not things that are so easily predicted.
Not at all. We saw recently with like the stuff with, video games will release. And I know I keep coming back to video games, but it's probably my biggest passion. Video games will release after 8 years or 9 or 10 or 7 or 6 years of development and be something that would have been really cool 8 years ago. But because it took 8 years to make, they're in a modern time where people like different things. And it's not, doesn't work.
What was popular 100 years ago could be completely forgotten in modern times. And yet, 100 years, as far as history is concerned, is but a blink of an eye.
True.
If Tales of Shahryar hadn't chased after trends and instead stuck to its original style from start to finish, it might have stood some chance of gaining renewed popularity. No, even if that didn't happen, at least it would be a work that was true to itself.
Yeah, and it is totally about what you like. Like, I always see sometimes when people are like debating, like, this person said this game is the greatest of all time. This is stupid. And it's like, man, yeah, but like, what do you think is the greatest game of all time? And they're like, well, if you look at it, no, it's like, no, what is your favorite? What do you think is the best game ever made? What do you think?
Huh? Our conversation just got a lot more serious.
This is our sweetheart right here.
I don't really get what you're talking about, but it does sound sensible. Looks like I also have to hang in there and tell Antara's story well.
You should think about the present first. You should think about your income first.
How unseemly. I almost got carried away because of a single book. Well then, we should get back to the matter of our teaching material. It looks like we can't use Tales of Shahryar now.
Then how about the Legend of
No.
Antara?
It's much too old. Kale, you found a book that you liked at the bookstall, yes?
Heck yeah.
Yes, but I don't really...
Then we'll use that book as our teaching material. Now that I think about it, using a book
What a
that
great
you like
outcome.
is the most suitable choice for teaching you how to read.
Really fantastic
As for
outcome.
the academia, as long as we come up with an appropriate course name, we should be able to get away with this.
The analysis of popular
My,
literature.
It sounds like you've dealt with the academia before.
Yeah.
Let's
Dealt with
go
them in more ways than one.
Now then, let's return to the book vendor in a bit and buy the latest volume of this Onibudo for Kale.
Yeah, we could tell you liked it, Kale.
But if I wish to use it as teaching material, I have to read it first.
Huh?
Oh, she's feeling perceived.
Speaking of which, other than third eye of perception and illusory mirror, I also espy some unfamiliar phrases from the reader's messages at the back of the book. Such things as, even if it reminds me of my dark history, I still can't help but be drawn in by the story. And the author has written all the things that I only dare whisper into a tree hollow.
Jesus.
Why do people use dark history to refer to awkward or embarrassing memories? Is this some slang that was invented in the last century? If one of our learning objectives was researching linguistic changes over the past 100 years, it might make it easier to get these books approved as teaching material.
And it's a very interesting topic.
Oh, I can tell you what that's all about. Apparently, in their youth, some people used to imagine themselves as someone burdened by fate, fighting against the world, etc. But as they grew older, they started to become embarrassed by such memories. Some would write those fantasies into novels, while others would entrust such tales to tree hollows.
Mata? You know, I suddenly have the urge to hear a story about Antara.
Huh? Why so suddenly?
I think we know the whole dark history thing for now. It's good to reminisce about old tales. Yeah, we'll ignore the dark
I
history.
knew it. There will always be people who love the golden oldies. Now, let me tell you all about the ancient hero, Antara.
Oh, this is the first ending. Okay. And like we're all sitting at the table together. Save that picture for sure. Review invitation. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So I think like what they were trying to say there was like, they're trying to play on the whole 100 years old thing, which I think is it's a very interesting thing because like she doesn't look 100 years old, but so that was one ending completely up here. But she definitely does act that way, right? She definitely does. She acts like not even 100 years old. She just acts like your aunt or your like an older lady. You know the type that like mean well, but like will put a bit of pressure on you. That's definitely her as well. We have to leave the cafe that way. So that's the first one. So we have to talk to Kalei up here then. In this academic problem. Kalei is also just a terribly sweet character. So like I have no problem helping her with absolutely anything that she needs help with.
What now? She seems so busy.
So this is where things change.
But I know that he's been busy working on
So we can skip this along. And
But if someone does complain to the academia, wouldn't it make Faruzan's situation more awkward?
you're right.
And if the academia investigated and found her at Party's DI, things would get even worse for her.
I will literally fight them. I will fight them.
Do you have some way to invite her over to Party's DI without stepping on the academia's toes?
Let's observe the situation
Okay,
first.
Then. I'm counting on you.
It's no problem, Kalei. It's no problem.
I have to teach students from Haravatat or owe Kasharawar a favor. It strikes me that they might be even less happy about such a...
So we also got
Faruzan,
this as
we're
well,
back.
yeah.
Sorry for asking again, but are you sure you can't go to Party's DI today?
Well, since you're asking me so sincerely, let's just ignore the academia.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Ignore him.
Please, Madam Faruzan, focus. Today's the deadline.
Tanari wants to invite her over to do some research.
Huh?
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. I see. No wonder he sent you two over.
Just getting her out of this. This is great.
Why, that lad didn't make it very clear in his letter, now did he? Otherwise, I would have reported it as part of my research.
Yeah, that's right. Master sent us over to explain everything
Such
to you.
enthusiasm from Kalei.
Wait. Opportunities for collaborative research don't just come out of thin air. This seems like too much of a coincidence.
You don't worry about it. You don't need to worry about
Also,
anything.
there isn't much overlap between Madame Faruzan's research and that of Amorta, right? What will you even be collaborating on?
Stuff. And things. And other stuff.
Master wants to research.
A fully automated irrigation system.
There you go. I was just going to say that. I was actually thinking fully automated irrigation system.
A fully automated irrigation system?
Yeah, would you believe?
Precisely. It's a system that can automatically adjust the amount of water it provides based on the season and the plant species involved. I saw a similar mechanism while exploring a rune in the rainforest. That's why Tainari wanted to collaborate with me.
A mechanism like that exists? Why haven't I heard of it before?
I found it 100 years ago, so it's only natural that you don't know about it. Why don't you go ask your teacher's teacher? Perhaps they've heard about it from their teacher.
She's so good at getting out of this stuff. Look.
But we can't prove its existence one way or the other, right?
Well, can you prove anything? When we usually go off for a bit and prove stuff, will we go to Parasdia?
Not. I'll have Tainari write an official proposal to the academia
Oh
later.
my god, Tanari's involved in this now
That should do it,
too.
right?
An official proposal. Fine. We haven't made any progress with either the collaborative project or the elective course anyway. I'll go inform my superiors now. Please do take care of the paperwork as soon as possible. Don't delay this any longer.
Sure. I'll be sure to needle him until he gets it done. Phew. I think she bought it.
That was quick thinking back there. Honestly though, like, I didn't expect this outcome. I thought we were still gonna have to do something to do this, but I guess this is another option
Even
we have to
though
do.
This is our first meeting. I must say, we make a good team.
Heck yeah.
Wow! You made up that excuse on the spot, huh? Madam Faruzan, did you really find an irrigation system 100 years ago? If the academia asks for any details...
Who knows? It's been 100 years, so it wouldn't be too surprising if I've forgotten a few details, no?
Huh? Then how will we explain things to them?
I'll let Tainari worry about whatever documents.
Yeah, let
we
Tainari
need
worry
to
about
send
it.
to academia.
This poor man.
If I'm right, the request he has in store for me won't be any simpler than the academia nonsense.
Okay. That's actually funny. Like, again, I love all these different options in the Hangout quests. It's the idea that, like, you know, now we're just, like, going right to Parazia, like, which I thought, like, we'd probably the next thing we would be doing is doing the other choice with the research thing. We can just fast travel to Parazia anyway. Not here. Not here. That would activate an Archon quest, which I know you guys don't really like the Archon quests. There we go.
Master, we're back!
Oh.
Huh? Where did he go?
She respects the heck out of Sino and Tanari.
You don't have to shout. I can hear you.
Oh my god, he's a dad. He's totally a dad. Alright, you don't have to shout, I can hear you, honey.
Well, you got here much faster than I expected. I thought you'd have a lot more business to take care of.
Yes.
Thanks to the Traveler, I was able to pawn off various problems of mine onto others.
don't say it was me.
On to others? What does that mean?
People are helping out.
We can discuss
Yeah.
that later. You're looking for me because of the thing you mentioned in the letter, right?
This is brilliant.
That's right. Please follow me.
This is awesome, man. Like, getting to hang out with Tanari, Kale, and Farzan, and also, like, I love that we're, like, we know how much of, like, a responsible person Tanari is. So we're pulling the wool over his eyes a tiny bit. We gotta, you know? We gotta be irresponsible sometimes. Oh my god, Karkat is there! That's so cool. Wait. What happens if you... Oh no, this is probably... To do this, you probably have to do Tanari's story quest for sure, I'd say.
A monster? Why is there a monster
No,
here?
Kalei, I know it's very scary, but this little dude is the
Don't
best.
be scared, Kale. This is the mechanical life form the Traveler and I saved a while back. Its name is Karkata.
Yeah, and like, of course, with Kalei, like, you know, she's been, you know... I would never, ever, like, laugh at her for being scared of anything. She has been through so much that, like, her being weary of stuff, completely normal.
It's the final work of a late junior of mine.
Yeah, what a story
You
quest.
mean Abatui? He must have been a genius to create one of such polish all by himself. It's uncommon that a Spontamod researcher is able to create such an intricate machine. If he were still around, we could probably chat the day away. What a shame.
Kalu.
Something seems wrong here. Have you been maintaining it? Mechanical life forms are much more
And she'd know a
fragile
lot
than they
about
look.
this. For all of her research she's doing as well.
Is Karkata sick?
This is why Kale is the best, right? Kale went from being terrified to being worried. As soon as she knew it wasn't a threat.
Karkata has been lying down like this since a few days ago. It could be an old malfunction acting up again. I've taken a few courses conducted by Spontamod before, so I've managed to perform some passable repairs on Karkata's energy supply module.
Right.
However, it seems the issue this time is with its transmission. My knowledge can only prevent its condition from deteriorating any further. But Madame Faruzan, you should be able to find a way to repair
I'm
it.
glad that they brought that up, man. Like this, they dropped the idea that she's able to work with mechanical stuff or has research on mechanical creatures like this.
Not necessarily.
And now they're using it.
Mechanical life forms are created using techniques from alchemy, elemental science, and more. There are multiple modules here that influence each other. A simplistic knowledge of mechanisms will not serve here. You know that as well.
Nice ring as well,
Each
right?
mechanical life form is very different from the next. So even I cannot be sure if my understanding of mechanical life forms is going to be of any use to our little crab friend here.
Karkata.
I love Clay. I'm gonna cry. Clay is just like so instantly caring.
Can you all go outside for a minute? I need a bit of space. Before I do a thorough check, everything we've just said is but conjecture.
Fair enough. But also Clay understands as well what it's like to be sick as well, and what it's like to be vulnerable.
All right. We're counting on you, Madame Faruzan.
So cool. So cool how again, this place that apparently was designed by Kaveh? Because that's the only architect I'm thinking of when people are like, oh, wait till you see who designed this place. Pretty cool. Really cool stuff. He did a good job.
I didn't know mechanical life forms could get sick too.
Oh my
You
god.
have to get better soon, Karkata.
She's a sweetheart. She's always been a sweetheart, though.
We'll
Just a
wait
sweetheart
here till
in like
Faruzan finishes her inspection.
little
In the meantime, I'd like to talk to you about her.
no problem. In a little how do you say? Because she wasn't like a wolf, because that's the wrong way of putting it. But she was very, very, you know, we use the word prickly a lot, right? She was very prickly, but like intentionally so to keep people away from her. I always wanted to ask about her past too. Yeah.
Past, huh? Quite a few people in the academia know about what happened to her. Perhaps it'd be best if I'm the one to tell you.
Sure. I'm actually like, because we didn't find out about this when we
I've told
first.
you before that she had disappeared for 100 years, right? From her perspective, trapped might be a more apt description.
So she was
Her
trapped
exact
somewhere.
words were,
That ruin was crawling with traps and coded inscriptions from wall to wall.
Inside a rune.
I did all I could to decipher the code and deactivate the traps to escape the ruin, but there was no way out. I lost track of time and I ran out of pen and paper. In the end, I had to use stone shards to write on the walls and on the floor to decipher the code.
So she was deciphering a code while she was trapped.
Then, before I realized it, I ran out of space on the walls and floor. I had to calculate all the possibilities in my mind. After that, my memory started to become fuzzy, and my cognition slowed down.
Well, I can imagine.
she doesn't remember anything else, including the location of the ruin and how she finally managed to escape. When she was found in the outskirts of Sumeru a few years ago, she looked exactly the same as she did 100 years prior. However, she was in a stupor and struggled to form sentences.
Jesus,
Only after a
man.
lengthy recovery period could she speak again. The academia speculates that she must have gotten trapped in
Do
an
we know where the
unknown
ruin
ruin
is?
while researching machines a century ago. And because of the ruin's special properties that halted her aging, she was able to use those 100 years to crack the trapping mechanism and then escape.
What? She spent 100 years on one mechanism. I thought she like fell asleep for a while. And it prevented her from aging or dying? What is this room? We need to find this
Though
room.
she had finally broken free, 100 years had passed. Everyone she knew and everyone who knew her was already gone.
That's... When you put it that way, the realization hits you. That is
In
heartbreaking.
the end, even the academia had to rely on century-old records in the Akasha to confirm her existence.
To even... Oh my god, to even confirm she's real.
Don't make that face. I'm not telling you this because I want to drum up sympathy. She
Yeah.
wouldn't want others to pity her because of past events.
No, I totally get that. This light's making, like, is really good for you, by the way. This light right here, Sonari. Yeah, no, I totally get that vibe from her.
Rather, she sees that period of entrapment as an experimental error. As a researcher, she must accept everything that results from her experiments, even if they don't fall within expectations. Even after going through so much, she's returned to Sumeru and still hasn't given up on her research. Due to changes over the years and drift in academic subjects, she holds some rather strong opinions about the current academia, and she has no shortage of detractors herself.
Well, I can imagine, man. Jesus Christ, like... Would they not give her an ounce, like a little ounce of, like, they probably do give her a breathing room in fairness. Like, she's gotten a lot of
What I want to
extensions.
say is that no matter what era we're in, Faruzan is a true senior researcher, in every sense of the word.
That's actually an interesting way of putting it. She is a true senior researcher, no matter where she
has
is.
her own deep understanding of various ruins and machines. If there's a chance, you should talk about them with her. It'll definitely be helpful for your journey.
Thank you so much for this, because, like, honestly, that just made, like, Faruzan, like, a million times smarter, cooler. Like, I will appreciate her forever, because, like, holy hell. Spending 100 years on a puzzle? Man, like, if I'm doing a puzzle for, like, an hour in, like, Zelda, I'm, like, exhausted.
Master, Faruzan's done.
Oh, let's head over. With any luck, she might have figured something out.
I never thought that I'd encounter a restitution module once again after 100 years. Abatui really installed quite a few impressive things on this. If my guess is correct, this mechanical life form has displayed attempts at self-sustenance before, right? Such as collecting parts to repair itself, for instance?
It has collected parts for, yes, it has, yeah.
It used them for something else, but as far as its design goes, it does have a function like that.
I knew it. If I'm not wrong, Karkata's issue lies with its restitution module. Abatui's modified this module extensively, but the core parts and design philosophy are very similar to the principles as I know them. They are all based on principles learned from the ruins.
The ruins? So the ruins you were
The creators of
trapped
the
in?
ruins machine once tried to create a perpetual mechanism that could replace life or even surpass it. The restitution module is the result of one of their countless attempts.
No wonder people are afraid to learn under Faruzan, because all this stuff is crazy.
It replicates the behavior of living things to achieve a self-repair function. However, the energy required in maintenance of the module became an issue.
Right.
Energy consumption? Maintenance?
For example, a living thing's heart can deliver nutrients and blood to various organs. However, the bigger the living thing, the more powerful the heart needs to be.
Okay.
Once the heart is damaged, it'll be hard for that living thing to heal itself, and even the function of other organs can be affected. Thus, the attempt wasn't widely adopted.
She's so smart. She's so freaking smart to like know all this, to have this up in her
Even
head.
100 years ago, I'd only seen it once before. Oh dear, this is going to be a problem.
Why is
Based on
that?
my current research, I'll need to swap out the damaged parts in the restitution module to repair Karkata. But like I just said, the module is rare, even by the standards of ancient machines. Not only that, but there is very little related research documentation available. Finding suitable parts would be like trying to find a single gear in the vast desert, to say nothing of the difficulty in making those parts from scratch. One can only wonder where Abatui found the original parts.
I might have an idea. Abatui was, for a time,
Red, the Great Red
quite
Sand.
passionate about excavating the Great Red Sand. This was when he had just gotten expelled from the academia.
You mean to say he found a restitution module in the desert? Well, that is indeed possible.
But the desert's huge! How are we supposed to find the parts that Karkata needs?
Yeah.
According to the Academia's records, no similar parts have been found in the Great Red Sand over the past 100 years. If we want to try our luck, we'll have to explore ruins that have never been explored before.
I do know that a Vahumana researcher formed an expedition team after the sandstorms and earthquakes subsided. They are now exploring areas of the desert that used to be difficult to access.
Should we ask them if they've made any new discoveries lately?
The chances are slim, but it's at least more effective than running around like headless chickens.
Where is the archaeological team currently stationed?
His name is Raid. I think he's stationed at the northeast part of the hypostyle desert. Let's go look for him once Karkata settles down.
Once Karkata settles down, this beautiful, beautiful soul.
You and Kale should probably stay. Karkata's condition may be stable, but it would still be better if some of us stay to look after it.
Smart.
Besides, you still need to take care of the trouble that the Academia left for me.
Yeah, it was you she put it on, by the way.
Trouble from the academia? I thought you said that you pawned
You were
it
to
off
someone
to
else.
someone else.
That's you.
Wait. Don't tell me.
Yeah, you were to someone else.
I'll let Kale fill you in on the details. I look forward to seeing your work, Tainari.
I'm very glad I'm not going to be around for this. Very glad. It ain't me that's going to be the problem. It was all her.
A fully automated irrigation system.
He sounds so annoyed.
That's quite the task.
Master, can I help with anything at all? I can go buy things. Prepare pen and paper.
Oh, Kale.
You know, I seem to remember that you have a lot of homework today.
Oh my god, she said this happens every time she asks if he can help. He's like, well, if you have time to help.
Huh? Oh, yeah. I do.
Well, Hurry up and finish it so you can sleep early, or Faruzan will worry. That's the best thing you can do now to help.
I think he genuinely is like just very concerned for her all the time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I understand she wants to help out a lot. I think he is just genuinely all the time just kind of like, look, I'd rather you get your rest. And he knows that she's been staying up late to study as well. Absolute sweetheart of a beautiful soul is our man Tanari. Like, it's not easy like adopting a child. You know what I mean? It's not easy. I can't imagine it is easy. Where was he going? This way? But now for that child to also be adopted by their granny aunt can't be easy either. And the fact that your husband is constantly going around the place getting cut up and hurt. Life can't be easy. Insane, man. Look at this stuff over here. The desert is still so incredible. We're gonna be doing Golden Slumber soon as well. This is the team we're using today, but we might use... I think it was just because I was farming with them. I might use Eula's E-support for a bit. Or we could use Sayu's Sleep. But we haven't used Eula in a while. And Eula is very freaking good. Like, she's very good. Like... Now, the only thing with Eula is, and I think you guys probably understand this too, just as I do. The thing about Eula is that she's fantastic. But one of her biggest issues is that it's harder for her to like, because Scaramouche and Kazuha and Sayu all have this thing where you can just run around in a circle. And I know we could have superconducted this guy here. And you can just bust him like that. Like, run around in a circle.
Beg for mercy.
Yeah, you can run around in a circle. And just, or use your move. With Sayu, you can just slide around in a circle and destroy enemies with, like, some elements. Kind of similar to, and then with Kazuha, he can just drag people and destroy them like that. Scaramouche will just, like, attack the nearest thing to him and will destroy it like that. Eula has to be, like, very direct. Now, she's very good, though. She's very good. I would never doubt Eula. She's been fantastic for us on many occasions. She's the reason why I have most of my characters leveled. Perfect farming machine.
Halt! Mr. Raid's permission is required to proceed any further.
She's a researcher from the academia.
Won't do. Mr. Raid told us to keep people away from the ruins so they don't damage the site.
Damage the site? I've excavated more ruins than
Tell
we've
him.
visited
Tell him.
restaurants.
Tell him.
Which batch of students is Raid from? I want to see him right now.
He isn't at the campsite now. You should all leave. Only he can give you permission to
Then where is he? Let's talk to him.
What a stubborn guy.
Let's wait for that researcher to come back first.
You're right. Even if there is new information, we still have to wait for him to come back so we can ask him about it. So let's just see what we can find out from the people here. I'm going to give that Raid a good talking to when he gets back. Starting from who in the world mentored you?
Exactly. Who mentored you? Who mentored you, you fool? You fool?
Halt! Mr. Raid's permission.
No, I was trying to kill you. Sorry. Oh my god, that was awkward. It's so, you know when like someone thinks you're trying to enter their facility and you kill them? Ah, it's really awkward.
That machine looks amazing. Could it be the legendary Ruin Wanderer? The location seems to fit too. Might that legend actually be true?
Great shadow work here. Oh, we can activate this up here, yeah? Oh, well, we can also do this. Which, like, I don't know if I have many uses for this as much as I used to.
More speed.
But it's still nice to say we got it, you know? Have you seen that guy around? Sorry, my sword slipped.
The ruins? Don't know anything. We were only hired to deliver water and supplies to them. Forget excavation. They won't even let us get close to the camp where they're staying.
Oh, thanks, Tumbleweed. Yeah, it seems that they're being very secretive about it then, which I guess with research you kind of have to be. I love when we find a little oasis of water. It's so cool.
This area used to be ravaged by frequent sandstorms, but it's been calm lately for some reason. They say that this was done by a single traveler? But seriously, is such a thing even humanly possible?
Yes, I did it. Thank you. After asking around, Faruzan... Okay.
Well, I found out everything I could. Is there anything that stands out to you?
The machine they speak of?
Ruin Wanderer.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've heard that name. But that wreckage did seem a bit weird.
Yeah, what's so weird about
It's
it?
a bit far away, and I can't really say for sure from this distance. Perhaps we should ask the villager from before about the legend first.
Okay. So I wonder if like all those 3 different choices are different choices.
Here?
I want to learn more about the legend of the Ruin Wanderer.
I wouldn't blame you for not knowing about it, youngsters.
Oh, don't say that.
It's a tale
Don't say
that's
that.
over a decade old.
Don't say that.
It's said that this monster, the Ruin Wanderer, traversed through various ruins for centuries. Many adventurers had claimed to see it while exploring. Some said that it was like a giant, while others said that it was like a beast. However, none knew why it wandered the ruins.
I love stories like that, man. Like nobody knew. Nobody knew why I did this.
Then, about 10 years ago, we stopped hearing any news about it in Sumeru. No one has seen it since then, and the legend has since faded into memory. You youngsters probably don't know about the Ruin Wanderer nowadays, but it was famous for centuries.
Centuries? Impossible. I heard nothing about it back then. It could only have been around for a few decades at most.
I love that we have a 100-year-old lady with us who can be like, hold on a
Wait.
second.
Back then,
Yeah, back then.
Indulge my curiosity for a moment. Why do you think that wreckage is the Ruin Wanderer?
well, I had also heard that secondhand from...
You heard that nonsense from the Eremites after they got drunk, right?
Oh, the Eremites are telling stories.
Who are you?
This boat, I can't get over how cute this is. Look at this. It's adorable.
Madam Faruzan, it is a pleasure. I'm Raid,
Oh, it's him.
the one who organized this archaeological expedition.
Let us in. Give us a bit of a... and he's also saying it's a pleasure, so he knows Faruzan.
I'd heard of you at the academia, but I didn't expect to run into you here. Truly, it is an honor. And this must be the famous traveler, I presume. What brings the two of you here?
Have you found any special contraptions and relics in the ruins that you've been investigating?
I'm ashamed to say that we haven't found anything noteworthy, even though we've been investigating for a while now.
I do like that, like, Faruzan is usually in, like, her element when she's talking about this stuff, talking about this research stuff, you know?
Really? That Ruin Wanderer isn't noteworthy to you?
I'm afraid those are mere rumors.
Are you trying-
Really,
wait.
I sometimes wish that those people would put as much effort into their
Does he
work
believe
as
in it
they
and he's
do
trying to,
into
like-
gossiping.
Does he believe it a little bit? Maybe he believes it a tiny bit?
You're right, sir. I'll get back to work now.
The wise do not buy into rumors, so it is said. I believe that you too, Madam Faruzan, do not put any stock into such baseless talk.
It is also said that real knowledge shall come from practice. I can help you research the excavated
Yeah.
relics and see if I can find out anything new about
That'd be so
them.
cool.
You can take credit for any new discoveries. I believe this offer to be sufficiently
Because
attractive.
Faruzan just likes doing this research.
In truth, I could ask for nothing better than your help with our research. However, you two must be tired after a long journey. I'd
You
feel
trying to cover
bad if
something
I
up?
set you to work immediately.
You trying to cover something up?
It's getting late, and my subordinates and I are heading back to the camp to rest. Why don't you find a place to spend the night first? We can continue our discussion tomorrow.
I don't know about this.
There are tents over there that the villagers occasionally use to rest. The condition is a bit simple, yes, but I hope you won't mind.
I mean, yeah, resting is good, but like, why is he like so...
Since you need to rest as well, let's do just that.
He doesn't have the vibe, like you know what I mean, the energy of someone who's being totally truthful, in my mind. At all. Do you guys get that energy too?
This is quite far away. Are they trying to prevent the villagers
Yep,
from
there you go.
eavesdropping
Faruzan's so
on
smart.
them? This suits us just fine, though. This way, they won't overhear our conversations either.
Smart, she's so good.
Now, I have my suspicions about this archaeological expedition team and that machine wreckage. I only caught a quick glimpse, and it was from a distance. But based on the condition of the armor and joints, it didn't seem like something that had been lying around for centuries. At most, I'd estimate that it only stopped moving about a dozen years ago.
A dozen years ago?
Yes, the timing coincides with the spreading of the legend. Now, assuming that it really is the Ruin Wanderer, how do you suppose it was able to maintain a relatively good condition despite high-intensity operation over the course of several decades?
A restitution module.
That's right. Technically speaking, the module shouldn't be able to move such a large machine chassis. However, I'm basing my knowledge on the mechanical life forms I've seen before.
You've seen these? I'm actually like, so other than Kakata, but like I'm so interested in hearing this just because like the story like of like even the name the Ruin Wanderer like makes me interested.
Well, this was over 100 years ago. It was a machine about the same size as Karkata, actually. It couldn't carry heavy objects or fight, and was only able to help me record some notes. It also helped me deliver letters home. I found it near the desert, which is why I wondered if there might be more restitution modules buried around here.
Is it no longer
Honestly,
around?
People in ancient times might have already solved the problem of providing enough power for all I know. I'll need to research this properly.
Why didn't you go investigate it earlier?
Had I confronted Raid right there and then, he would have said that he couldn't tell that the machine was special. Then he'd just hand it over to the Academia obediently, and he'd get away scot-free.
So yeah, you saw it too. She definitely saw it too. And if she saw it, like, of course she saw it. Like, if I saw it, Faruzan saw
If the
it.
wreckage were to be handed
What we
to
saw
the
in Raid.
Academia, it'd be much tougher for us to do research on it or get spare parts for Karkata. Anyway, we should figure out what they're planning before making our next move. They insisted that we should stay the night, which means if they're trying to pull a fast one on us, they're likely to try tonight. We must be vigilant.
Oh my God. This is so fun. She's such a fun character. And it is because she's so focused on like the one thing she wants to do.
From the excavation site?
Yes, Faruzan.
I knew they wouldn't be able to wait. They must be scared that we might discover something tomorrow.
That's why he wanted us to go to sleep.
A single person guarding the campsite. This must be quite the manpower expenditure. I'll see if they left any clues behind at their camp. Keep watch and help me stall them if it comes to that, would you?
No
All
problem.
right.
No
I'm counting
problem.
on you.
I'm excited for this. Look what we ended up like. We started off just helping out Kalei and Tanari, and we're in the desert with Faruzan. Go to the excavation site. Here we go.
More speed.
I'll stall him. I'll stall them, all right.
Flood of frost.
You ready? You're gonna get stalled. No, don't do it. What do you mean? No, you can't kill them. Okay. Guess I'll just talk to them normally.
Why isn't the tent here yet? We need to switch it out tonight.
Switch what out, buddy?
It's still on the way. I'm afraid this is the first time we're delivering such a huge one.
You're really cute.
You good-for-nothings are just a load of trouble, aren't you? We wouldn't have to deal with these interlopers if you had kept those lips of yours from flapping. Hurry up and hide our current tent and deliver the new one to me tonight, no matter what it takes.
Huh? Who's there?
It's me. Look at that freaking hilly trail down there. It's me.
I'm sorry. I'm just a bit upset because my subordinates aren't doing their jobs properly. When did you get here?
It's me. What's the tent you mentioned about asked? What's this livery here you having trouble with?
It's nothing. Just a tent. We didn't pack up all our tents from the last campsite. Some of them, along with a few people, have been left there.
I just imagining our Wanderer, Aether, walking up to him and just being like, it's like, who's there? It's me.
Someone damaged our current tent, so I'm trying to get my subordinates to get one from that previous campsite delivered here.
And you're discussing that over here because...
The relics in the ruins are highly valuable, so I'm worried that treasure hoarders and bandits might try to steal them. Since the tent isn't here yet and I can't fall asleep, I came here to patrol.
There are people who would steal these relics?
Well, these things are antiques after all. There will always be people interested in buying them. I hired so many people precisely because I was worried about that happening.
Dude, the more you explain your story, like, you know what I mean? You know, like I feel like someone who's lying will always have their story being super detailed, you know?
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask, Is the academia really aware that you've traversed through the desert to come here in the middle of the night?
Oh, buddy. Oh, you know where you can file that? In Beeswax Not Yours Incorporated.
Also, where's Faruzan? Why isn't she with you?
Oh my god, you know what? That's none of your business.
I'm right here.
There she is.
Also, you forgot to address me as Madam.
That's Madame Faruzan. I'm Monsieur Wanderer.
Sorry, Madam Faruzan.
Yeah, so you changed your tone. You tone. You changed your tone. You changed your tune there.
You were all making so much noise that I couldn't sleep, which is why I got the Traveler to find out what was going on. But for some reason, that one task took forever. So I came to check in on the situation.
That's because you have very high expectations of things.
I'm very sorry for
Not for Clay,
disturbing
but for
your
me,
rest.
apparently.
I'll tell my subordinates to be quieter on patrol.
Yeah, we was trying to sleep and then we heard all your shenanigans. All right? And we don't like the shenanigans.
Good. Come on, Traveler. Let's head back.
We're heading back already?
We came to check out the situation, didn't we? Well,
She's
we've
so
already
good.
done that.
She's so good. Look at this little mischievous
We should
mind
get better
going.
rest so that we'll have energy to investigate tomorrow.
It feels weird calling her sweetheart. Just because I know that, like, she's towering over us in age. But I guess, like, it doesn't matter. You know, you can still call someone older than you a sweetheart. What's happening? Was I mistaken? This game's... By the way, I was going to do a joke about I was going to go up and attack Rhea, but then I got stopped by the fact that, like just walking slowly through this world. This whole game is gorgeous. I told you guys about, like, how, like, I showed my friend this game. Just, like, a video of the game, because it was the video that someone made about me in this game. And she thought it was very funny, but, like, oh, there's, like, a whole lot... Like, it's literally right there, the other part of the world. Yeah, and she was, like... The first thing she said was, this game's gorgeous. You know? The first thing she said was, like, this game is gorgeous.
Thanks for dealing with them. Now, I found something good on my end. These are the excavation records from their campsite. According to them, the ruins have been raided before, with numerous traps and contraptions having already been triggered. I also observed the wreckage up close earlier. The weathering is nowhere near as extensive as on the relics that have been buried for over 100 years. There's no doubt that the wreckage and the ruins don't belong to the same era. Instead, it must have wandered into the ruins about a dozen years ago.
Okay.
It could have fallen into a trap or encountered a glitch within the ruins, remaining stationary like that until it was discovered recently.
And you know about, like... And she does. It's not even a joke. She knows about being, like, contained inside of a ruin.
However, I still don't know why they'd want to hide it. I have no doubt that the researcher could definitely reach the same conclusion I did. The last few pages of the excavation records are written in code, which I still need time to decipher. The answer may lie within those pages.
You can decipher code. I think she can. I'm very sure she can.
It's just wordplay. And if anything, that's my wheelhouse.
Which, like, if you think of it, like, her little thing she does, like, her idle animation is very much like a code thing that she's doing. Like, it's like a deciphering of a code. Faruzan gets to work on deciphering the code.
Just a bit more. I see.
Help! Please!
Oh my god!
Why are you running away? Come back! Protect me!
Oh no, bro, you gotta protect yourself.
Sound?
I just woke up.
The Ruin Wanderer? Reactivated? That's impossible! Is this the work of some kind of hidden mechanism? Never mind. We have to focus on saving lives first. I'll cover them. You go stall the Ruin Wanderer.
100%. I have no problem doing that for you, Faruzan. Look at our wanderer just running right to it. Wait, he's not...
What?
He just did. He ignored us. What?
Why is it chasing after us?
Oh, he just wants them.
What could have caused it to reactivate? And to give chase?
Yeah, like it's only going after them.
Hey, come on, you lot! It's clear that we can't escape, so let's just attack it!
Oh, buddy. Oh. What the hell? What in the hell?
It stopped?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, get up there and tell me what's going on.
What? Yeah, what is happening?
What if it suddenly moves?
That bird just does not care over there.
You good-for-nothings. Why is everyone I hired so useless? Move! I'll do it myself.
Oh yeah, do it yourself then, buddy. Go on. Do it yourself. Go up and touch it. Give it a little tickle.
This thing's parts can't handle the load of functioning anymore after years of disrepair. When it first reactivated, I was wondering if it'd be as amazing as the legends had pegged it to be. I didn't expect it to be so much weaker than it looks. How disappointing.
Disappointing, you say? Now, is that because you won't be able to sell it for much?
She's so matter-of-fact about this stuff.
Faruzan, you may be my senior as an academia researcher, but that doesn't mean you get to slander.
She 100 years your senior. But no, and it's madam to you as well, by the way. But yeah, I love how she can like switch between being very like pretending she's on their side to being like very matter-of-fact.
You wrote these excavation records, did you not? Or perhaps calling it a ledger might jog your memory a bit better.
I don't recognize that thing.
January 3rd. Excavated 5/10.
Oh my god, dude, you're gonna again, this is 100 years of experience. You're not gonna get past
January
this.
5th. 3/10 sold.
Oh my god, how could she's making this like gotcha moment sound so sweet.
January 10th. One special tent pre-sold. It must quickly be switched out with an old tent.
So tent is the code for relics.
You're supposed to be an archaeological expedition team, and yet here you are, secretly selling the relics and profiting from it.
I love this as well because like we went from like I guess like Faruzan's always been a very like from what we've seen in the first one, what we saw in the first hangout choice that we had. You know, she's very like she's putting a lot of pressure on the idea of like finding the right novel, finding the novel from 100 years ago. This idea of how popular it was, like, you know, which is really cool to see that very hyper-focused aspect of her personality, of something she loves. And now we're seeing her in action when it comes to her job and the things she's also passionate about, the things she's cared about for hundreds of years, or 100 years at this stage. Like, it's really cool to see those two sides because they both like are very much, you know, entangled in the same personality, but you get to see how they like, I guess, flow in different situations.
When you believed that you had found the wreckage of the Ruin Wanderer, you tried to switch in wreckage that you had excavated previously to pull the wool over the Academia's eyes. After all, there would probably be many wealthy buyers interested in purchasing the legendary Ruin Wanderer in the black market, yes? And then we arrived just before you could finish your work. That forced you to speed up your plan, and you tried to complete the switch overnight before I could investigate the wreckage. In your haste, however, you accidentally activated the Ruin Wanderer instead.
She's nearly stumbling over like she's not even taking a breath. She loves this.
I don't know what
she loves that she got them out.
You lack the curiosity befitting a man of knowledge.
Yes!
Nor do you have respect for mechanical life forms.
You tell him!
You're not fit to be a researcher.
Yes!
Ridiculous. Curiosity? Respect? I'm not here to hear you preach. Hey, we're leaving.
Well, you're not leaving,
Mr.
at you, buddy.
Reed, behind you?
Oh my god, it's waking up again, isn't it? That was so good. Hold on, Faruzan. Did Buddy get crushed?
Why is it moving again? Run!
Oh no, they're just running, okay. Oh my god, Faruzan, that's the coolest thing you've ever done ever. Watch out! I thought she was just standing there.
Some said that it was like a giant, while others said that it was like a beast. However, none knew why it wandered the ruins.
Technically speaking, the module shouldn't be able to move such a large machine chassis. However, I'm basing my knowledge on the mechanical life forms I've seen before.
What is she figuring out here? What's she figuring out?
Impossible. I heard nothing about it back then. It could only have been around for a few decades at most.
She's figuring something out.
Why is it chasing after us?
So you've been looking for me this whole time?
What? What? Oh my god, so that's why it's stopping every time it gets close to Faruzan. What? It's not...
Long time no see, Tamimi.
Tamimi? What? Tamimi? What has happened? Tamimi.
Dear Faruzan, I hope you're doing well.
What the hell?
It has been over 20 years since you went missing. People
Oh
from
my
academia
God.
keep telling us to give up and that you're most likely dead.
No.
But somehow, I feel like you're still alive. Yes, that you live still in some corner of this world.
This is a lot, man. Oh my God. So obviously there's still people looking for her and still hoping she was still alive.
You've always been persistent, able to shine no matter what situation you face.
Yes,
I believe that
100%.
this persistence serves you well in surviving and finding your way home.
That's such. Yeah, she's so persistent. That's why the word I should have been using. She's so persistent.
Unfortunately, I likely won't be able to welcome you home when you do. I don't have much time left, and my reflexes have slowed. Others keep telling me to stop exploring ruins.
The voice sounds a lot older, right?
Only Tamimi is still the same as before.
Tamimi?
Always running off to places which you've been
No.
to.
No. Oh my God.
Your teacher and friends came up with an idea to remodel Tamimi so it can search for you in our place. You didn't like coming home back then and would always get Tamimi to send a letter back. Now we're leaving a letter with Tamimi. I wonder if it'll ever be delivered.
So Tamimi's just been trying to find Faruzan this whole time? And Faruzan's just been in, like, Sumeru City?
I don't know the answer to that question, but if you ever read this letter, I hope it'll be when you've already found your way home.
And the care that they had for her as well. And again, that's the proper word I've been looking for this whole time. The persistence that she has. She's such persistence to be able to do that, all that she's done.
I regret not being able to say this to you myself, but I'll still feel sincerely happy for you.
Oh.
My dear daughter.
Oh my. She has the triangles in her eyes, by the way, as well. Holy hell, man. Her mother was looking for her this whole time and she programmed a machine. Tamimi's been looking for her this whole time. That's beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Home, Faruzan.
You came home, but just took you a while to find Tamimi.
Look at you, Tamimi. You've changed so much after all these
Oh my God, look how
years.
soft her voice has gotten as well.
Thank you for waiting for me all this time.
This is the sweetest.
I've safely received the letters.
Oh.
Your work is done now.
Let's not.
You can sleep.
The voice acting. Dear Christ, that is so sad but sweet at the same time. You can sleep. She's been searching for you for how long at this stage? 20 years into her being missing. Am I getting the right in saying it's 80 years? Even longer.
Tamimi, the mechanical life form I encountered back then. When I would go on expeditions, it would follow me, take notes for me, and send my letters home.
So obviously Faruzan probably thought that Tamimi wasn't going to be still around at this stage.
When I met with that accident, it was on the way to deliver a letter for me. I once thought that I'd never get to see it again.
Look again, and like we talked about the persistency of Faruzan, and Faruzan is so persistent in all the conversations. You know, very straightforward. Says a lot, like 100 words per second. You know, because that's just who she is. Her voice has gotten a lot softer now, talking about something from her past, talking about this beautiful little creature that's been searching for all this time, and saying you can rest is so heartbreaking.
I didn't expect my teacher and others to remodel its self-repair function, upgrading it to self-learning. And so, in order to plumb the depths of unknown ruins and overcome dangerous traps, it repaired and modified itself using parts it found along the way. 1 decade of wandering became many, and soon...
Yeah.
Tamimi, which used to be incapable of even moving heavy objects, became the Ruin Wanderer. All so it could deliver these last letters from them to me.
They still prayed for your safe return, even though they'd all passed on. All the people that you left behind, they still wanted to see you come back. This is beautiful. This is like Archon level beautiful.
The strain to support such a huge body must have turned out to be too much for your heart, right?
Oh,
Even after the remodeling, its restitution module still can't function perfectly in perpetuity. It has been pushing itself beyond its limits over the past few decades. Just like a living being, mechanical life forms have a limited lifespan. It probably became trapped in the ruins all those years ago because its shelf life had run out.
And so Faruzan got trapped and Tamimi got trapped, looking for Faruzan. This is incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
It was likely only reactivated because it detected my presence. And then it mustered up everything it had to deliver that last letter.
Oh my god. Stop
Now,
describing
I
it.
can finally rest in peace.
Stop. Oh my god. That's so sad. But it's so beautiful at the same time, you know? It's so beautiful at the same time. Look, so Jesus Christ.
Tainari told you what happened to me, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize. It's not like this incident is a secret in the academia.
It just made me like you more.
Besides, I've always treated it as a failed experiment. As a researcher, I must accept this result.
Heck yeah.
However, finding out that so many people were affected by my failure does make me feel somewhat conflicted. Can you head back to Pardis DI first? We've been here for a while, and it's best not to make Kale and the rest worry. As for me, I want to stay with Tamimi for a bit
I
longer.
understand. I totally understand, Faruzan. I totally understand. No, that's totally understandable. You don't have to do anything you don't want to right now. Oh, man. What's this stuff? Oh, no. There's little notes. Tamimi's remodeling is going smoothly as it is now. I can learn how to deal with various dangerous situations in the ruins on its own. I wish you could see with your own eyes. As I worked, I kept thinking that you do a better job than this than I could. They taught so highly of her. After all, you're the most exceptional student I've ever met. I told you not to. Now look, so many people worried, even Tamimi. The messy scribbling has repeatedly cancelled and edited, leaving barely legible phrases and single neat messages at the back. Hurry up and come home for your meal. Your mom always makes an extra portion of food, you know. She's still making food? Oh my god, I've heard of this, like people still setting the table for their missing child. This is a lot. I did not expect this. Oh, I already read this one. I did not expect this from the freaking Hangouts. Like, the Hangouts have been great, but this is heavy, man. Dear Madame Faruzan, the notes and manuscript we found in Tamimi have been transcribed and organized, and every one of them has been marked with your name. I hope that even after 100 years, future generations of students will still remember your name. She was right, Madame Faruzan. She was right. Like, in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like, she was right. Her head hang low inside the desert breathes gales of wind, and the only sound can be heard is the scattering rising of spreading grains. Which again, they're not making fun of the fact that she talks a lot or the fact that she talks so fast or all this stuff, right? What they're doing here is they're using the fact that that's who she is to show that the quietness of like being around Faruzan right now is just as shocking as like if she was, you know, screaming in agony, you know, or screaming in tears. So impressive. Never mind. Yeah, mind-blowing. Mind-blowing, really mind-blowing.
You're back!
Ah,
Yeah?
How was your journey through the desert? Wait, where's Madame Faruzan?
She's, places right now. Tell the whole truth. Keep Tamimi's secret. Keep Tamimi's secret. Yeah, like, she should be able to tell it. That's her choice. You right? That's her choice. That's not our place.
So, Madame Faruzan has some other things to settle.
Yeah, that's not our place.
All right. And to think that Raid was doing all those things on the sly.
Yeah, we can explain that because that happened to us too.
It's good that you all got out of that situation in one piece.
Madame Faruzan Faruzan will be able to repair Karkata when she gets back, won't she?
Oh, Kakata. Currently only Faruzan and I know about Tamimi. I should let Faruzan decide whether to tell her. Yeah, that's her choice. That's her choice. Obviously, we can choose different if it comes down to a different choice in the next one. But like right now, that's what we're choosing. Obviously, we're gonna have to choose other choices if it comes down to it, you know. So around here. Yeah, they did a really good job of like presenting Faruzan's personality and showing us like why it's sad like that. She's so quiet now. I think they did a really fantastic job of that. Is she gonna be here now? I wonder. I'm back.
Is there to be no welcoming party?
Yeah, where's the welcoming party, guys? What are you doing?
Madam Faruzan,
Actually, I would never shout a Kalane Tanari.
That's more like it. Now, here are some components I brought back from the desert. Switch these out with the ones Karkata is using right now.
Are these
And
Tamimi's?
it'll be back in ship shape.
So this is a relic of an ancient civilization. Unbelievable. Thankfully, it didn't end up in Raid's unscrupulous hands.
Unscrupulous, huh? Sounds like you already told them what happened.
I told him about
Is
Raid.
that so? Thank you. We will talk about everything else
Yeah,
later.
no. I think for our first choice, it's good to be like, hey, yeah.
It's nothing. I've already given all the evidence we have against Raid to the Academia. They're going to be very busy. Too busy to bother us, I'd wager. I'll start repairing Karkata then. Kale, can you help me out? Of course.
Oh my god, she loves to help out whenever she can. After some repairs, Kakata springs back to life. Yes!
Faruzan went out after repairing Karkata. She seems to be looking for you for some reason.
Thanks, Daddy.
Well, I will not probe any further. However, if you need any help, do feel free to ask.
This was like story quest level, right? You know what I mean? Like this is impressive.
It looks fine, but even so, it needs to properly rest up.
And look, Kalei, everyone was feeling like this about you, and now you're feeling this way about Kakata. Oh, she's down there. What do you do if you have to meet up with someone and you're waiting for someone to meet up with you and they did this instead of going down to talk to you? Where is he?
Time to act.
Oh, okay.
You're here. Thank you for keeping Tamimi a secret.
You don't plan on telling
If I
them?
tell them about Tamimi, will they still feel happy for Karkata?
True, so she did
Even
use
if we
parts
could
from,
convince
yeah.
them to accept the components, they'll probably still feel bad about it.
And they'll look at Kakata and think of Tamimi all the time. That little tuft of your hair there is so cute as well.
I don't want my past to affect people in the present. That applies to both me and other people.
Maybe you'll feel better if you share it with
It's
the rest.
fine. I'm used to this. I once believed that I'd never hear from my old friends and family ever again. Even their faces are getting hazier in my memories.
Oh man, that would be so painful. That would be so painful.
However, I could remember them clearly.
Zhongli
again
said something
after
a little bit
reading the
similar,
letter
right?
Tamimi handed to me and learning that they'd never given up on me. That's more than enough.
Or was it? No, I think Zhongli maybe was like, I think Zhongli, like, his whole story was that he, like, remembered everyone, right? But there was one, I forget the character who said it. Some character said that they forgot, like, people's faces and stuff, I guess, after a while. I forget which one it was, though.
I'd be disappointing them if I let myself fall into a slump because of this. Neither my teacher nor my mother would have wanted to see me like that. Besides, you're lending a listening ear to me now, aren't you?
And I do it anytime. I just got chills when she said that. I do it anytime.
Oh, Pardias GI looks pretty scenic at night. Will you take a stroll with me?
Any day. Let's go.
Once Karkata's condition stabilizes,
Oh my god, I forgot you get to see
I'll
it.
find a chance to tell Tainari and Kale about all that.
Look at this beautiful scene.
But for now, just help me keep the secret.
You got
Thank
it.
you. Whether it's 100 years ago or now, I have people who worry about me.
Yeah.
I suppose I should consider myself quite fortunate.
100%.
The only time when I felt otherwise was when I had just returned to Sumeru. No one came to check up on me then.
For real? I feel like we don't even have, like, the right to be the one to say this, but I feel like it's gonna mean so much to her when we say this, and it's gonna kill me. Just like her freaking mother said, welcome home, Faruzan. Oh my god. How's she gonna react to that?
I'm home.
Oh my god. Whoo. What a beautiful story. Look at this. Where she wants to drift to the sea of time, she has found her home shore once again. Oh my god. Oh my god. Welcome home, Faruzan. She's such like an interesting character. I didn't expect this though. I really didn't expect this from Faruzan. And again, like I love the way they like this game directs this stuff like this. I really do. The fact that like what they did. Oh, so we'll make a different choice from here. But what they did to me was like incredibly interesting. And it's yeah, like we said, the fact that they used the silence of Faruzan to do that. Oh my god, I'm gonna die just thinking about this. Every time I think about like her reading the letter from her mother, just actually kills me. It kills me. Welcome home. My heart feels so heavy. Welcome home is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Like, see, like, now I'm getting emotional. I have to stop thinking about it, or else I will just get destroyed. Because it's just so beautiful. But like, in this Let's Play, we let the emotions flow. We let the emotions flow. We gotta. I would feel weird if we didn't. What? You never do that to yourself as well, because I'm doing it to me now. You know when you torture yourself by continually thinking about something that's super sad? But it's beautiful at the same time, right? The welcome home aspect. She had so many people that cared about her. Such a beautiful thing. Such a beautiful thing. So let's go back to time to decide this. So I guess we're going to have to like go what we wouldn't usually do, but that's okay though. Like that's what these stories are. Usually we get a bad ending every once in a while. So I wonder if she wouldn't appreciate us saying it outright, or maybe she would. Maybe she's going to be kind of like, oh, I actually am glad you said it. You said something because I wouldn't have been able to say something. You know what I mean? But like this is time. Sometimes you do bad endings.
Oh no. She finally got to reunite with an old friend from 100 years ago. But...
Yeah, but...
As a researcher, she could perhaps accept it. However, as a friend, student, and a daughter...
Perfect way to describe it, Tanari. You're so smart.
We should give her some time. Let's just wait for her here.
And you know what it's like having a daughter.
And in the future, I hope that we can be here to support her as her new friends.
Tanari! He's a sweetheart. An absolute sweetheart. Oh my god. We knew he was a sweetheart though, right? We knew he was always a sweetheart. Tanari has never not been anything but a sweetheart. This is the man who traveled all the way to Caravan Ribat to just check up on Sino and his wounds.
I'm back. What? Is there to be no
I adore her. I actually adore her.
We've all been waiting for you, Madame Faruzan.
That's more like it. Now, here are some components I brought back from the desert. Switch these out with the ones Karkata...
So we got this pair.
Why do you all look so
Oh,
solemn?
here we go.
Come now. Liveliness befits youngsters more.
Madame Faruzan, did these parts come from...
Oh, it's so hard to think about, isn't it?
Come now. I thought that you must have encountered some major problem. This isn't something you have to worry about. Well, it looks like you already know everything. But no need to feel bad. Like I said before, as researchers, we must learn to accept our
You know what's so
failures.
sad about this? She was in the desert, I know, for like a day or even a half a day, just sitting there staring at the Tamimi. And it's like, you know, you ever see someone who's like, and like this has been so many times, like with all of us in all of our lives, we're sad about something, we're crying about something, and then we take a few breaths and we walk into the room and we're like, hey, does anyone need anything else? Does anything need this? You know, we've all done it. But her, like, this is on a scale that's like a lot bigger.
Tamimi had been operating beyond capacity for a century, and I'm unable to repair it with my current abilities. Not even with these parts. It would thus be much better to use them to extend Karkata's lifespan.
Right.
As a senior, it is only right that I do something for the people who come after me. That holds true for both researchers and machines.
Oh.
Besides, I didn't say that I would be giving you these parts for free. They will only be used for Karkata temporarily. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to help me with my research.
Yeah, she's acting like she's not doing it out of, like, you know, the kindness, you know, of her own heart.
I'll be sure to revive Tamimi once I've fully deciphered and replicated
This-
the creations
great.
of the ancient civilization.
Great.
All right. I'll do my best.
That's
to help.
awesome. Okay. So she still has the idea of reviving Tamimi.
Me too.
Or is she saying that just to help? Who knows?
I'm not sure if I'll be much help.
I'll help too.
Thank you. If they could remodel Tamimi successfully even back then, there's no reason why we won't be able to do even better. And when that day comes, I'll be sure to say, welcome home, Tamimi.
Oh my god. Because that's like, again, like what obviously what her mother wrote in the letter, what we wrote to Faruzan as well. Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh my god, look at Wonder, look at Aether, look. Like, this started off like, I'll be like, you know, just say straight out with you guys, like this started off being like, oh, this is just a simple character story, you know what I mean? It's just very simple. It's not something too crazy. The story isn't too crazy. And what happens? Just like everything in this game, not everything in this game, but just like a lot of things in this game where I think I starts off going like, oh, this is very nice. You know, this is very simple, simplistic. The game goes, okay, what if it's not? What if it's like one of the saddest stories you've ever seen in your life? What if in this story you're gonna have one of the most heartbreaking moments? What if you're gonna have some of the best character moments? It's incredible, as usual. So incredible. This game is great.
No, she seems so busy.
So we'll do the same thing. Yeah, we'll do the same thing we did last time. And this time we'll do the collaborative project.
I don't know if Tainari's told you about this before, but while my research involves learning about ruins and the mechanisms within them, I don't belong to Kasharawar, which specializes in researching mechanisms, nor am I in Spontamod, which specializes in researching energy flow. Instead, I'm part of Haravatat, which specializes in languages and scripts.
So he only said that you were a very senior researcher in the field of mechanisms.
She has been invited to Kasharawar multiple times to continue her research, but she's rejected them each time.
Just listen to how they introduce themselves. In the future, Kasharawar will be the only Darshan with the ability to research mechanisms. There's no such thing as exclusivity in knowledge.
See, this is why I like Faruzan. Faruzan is like doesn't believe in the idea of like containing knowledge. She thinks it should be like for everyone. And I think she's very much like the opposite of what the old academia was.
Besides, the current Kasharawar is more concerned about how mechanisms can be used in everyday life, while my research involves textual analysis of ruins.
Here's the thing. She looks like a freaking angel. She looks so sweet. Right? Look at this. The bubblegum blue hair. Complexion of an angel. The triangles in her eyes.
If they're trying to use the collaborative project as an excuse to have me reconsider again...
No, that's not it. The request this time is from Makara Crafts. The representative of Kasharawar recommended you to them, Madame Faruzan. In truth, she told me that it's because she respects you a lot.
Oh, respect? Oh, my. Putting aside my ideological differences with Kasharawar, I suppose I must acknowledge this attitude of theirs. At the very least, they're bounds above those decrepit Haravatat fools.
It wouldn't hurt to hear them out.
Yeah, Akara
Love
Crafts
Clay.
is a pretty nice shop.
Yeah! She's the best.
Well, since both of you feel as such, I shall first hear this proposal.
Great.
In summary, Akara Crafts wants to design a series of early learning toys that will cultivate curiosity and learning in children.
Early learning toys. Interesting.
The academia agreed to work with them because they hope that these toys can help children become excellent researchers in the future.
It's a cool idea. Like nurturing that type of like curiosity now in a good way.
The current academia is in need of some new blood. If the children start learning now, perhaps I can find some talented students.
Yeah,
in a few
ones that
years.
will actually understand you.
Madam Faruzan, you still haven't found any students?
Me and you, Kale.
Anise, Kasharawar's representative, should be staying in the inn at Port Ormos. If you want more details, you can find her there.
I love the idea she has no students. It's so funny to me.
Port Ormos? Now there's a place I haven't been to in a long time. I wonder how much it's changed.
This has been incredible. This has been such an incredible hangout.
Probably can't join you since Port Ormos is a little far from here. I should probably go back and report to Master, and then review today's homework.
You do whatever you want to, Kale.
No worries. Go do your homework, Kale. Once I'm done with everything here, I'll head over to Pardistii.
I'll take you there.
Thank you. Why, I'd even call this a rare chance for a curious researcher like myself to observe the legendary
Means the
traveler
world
up
coming from
close.
you. Means the world. Yeah, Clay, you can do whatever you want. Whenever you step outside your house, the sun shines brighter. You know, you're one of those characters. In terms of like the hangouts, I actually think, and yeah, it's not over, but we still have 2 more endings to get. I think in terms of the best hangouts so far, if I had to pick 3 which are like the best ones, would you guys agree with me in saying? Oh man, I actually can't choose now. I thought I'd be able to choose. They're all so incredible and so varied and so different. Yeah, no, I'm a bone-faced liar. Probably my favorite out of everyone we've done so far. What am I doing? I can't chew. They're all so good. Goro's is really funny, but Ningwan's is really intimate and nice. Haizo's is also incredible. Haizo's might be like the best one, maybe. Right? If we had to choose. Gun to her head. Yunjin's is fantastic too. Faruzan's is amazing also in terms of emotions. It's tough, isn't it? It's super tough. Oh, this is where we have to go. We don't okay because there's a quest over there. Here where the light only dies to remember. In a place where the blind truly can see.
Madam Faruzan! Oh, it's really you. Did you change your mind?
All right, calm down. Let me be clear. I'm still not all that interested in Kasharawar. I'm just here to see how the project is going. After all, you're here as representatives of the academia in this collaboration. The reputation of all research is at stake here, so I will not simply stand by should mistakes get made.
Either way, it's good that you were willing to come. Now, we've given Akara Crafts many ideas over the past couple of days. However, their owner thinks that our designs are too complicated, which will drive production costs too far up.
That's expected. Students who have never had to deal with budgetary constraints probably don't understand how important it is to keep costs low. How enviable.
Well, actually, like, maybe not so related, like, the idea of, like, you know, cost and budget and stuff, I guess, like, you know, I've talked about it several times with friends, how, like, a budget can sometimes make you more creative and actually, like, can make you progress a lot more. Like, if you want to create a comic book, for example, or something like that, like, or something, I know it's so different, but, like, if you want to create a comic book and you only have, you know, $5 to your name, you know, you're instead of buying, like, you're probably going to buy, like, a 250 sheets of paper, a few cheap pencils and stuff like this. But what comes out of that is, like, this heart, because you have these constraints where you can't just go all over the place. If you have, like, if someone says, here's $500, make a comic, you know, you're probably going to buy all this really fancy stuff. You're going to buy all these, like, drawn lines, but it's probably going to be less personal and less like you're going to see it. You're going to see the funding behind it, I guess is what you mean. But so, and while it would research, like, a lot of research, it's different than, like, you know, creating a comic, obviously. But, like, I mean, like, people who are given less of a budget are probably going to be more creative and are going to be working a lot harder, if that makes sense.
If you join the Kasharawar, your budget will be as big as you want it to be. I guarantee it.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm saying. It's good to have a big budget in research, so it's different. But I'm saying in terms of, like, with Faruzan. She's clearly, since she's had so many low budgets, she's had to work a lot harder. So she's earned this type of thing.
That's enough. I will not repeat myself. Take me to Akara Crafts owner first, if you please.
All right. He's usually at the slope up ahead recruiting volunteers to test out his toys. Let's just head over.
Really cool stuff. And it's like also like with movie stuff, like, you know, the idea of like, you know, that same friend we always talk about, if you ever got a movie, like, you know, although you'd want as much of a budget as possible, right? It's also like, you know, you see like with low budget movies, there's so much like heart into them, you know, there's so much like creative things you can do with them. And also like it forces you to be like realistic and creative at the same time. You know, if you have a budget of $100 million for your movie, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna write a movie about the space alien who attacks the big boat. But if you have like, you know, $5 million, I'm gonna make a movie about a daughter who's trying to convince her dad she wants him to drop her off at school 2 blocks away. You know, just something so simple like that. You know what I mean? And it's like that's the difference usually.
Momdu, the one I recommended is here.
Oh, so you're, Madam Faruzan?
Well done on getting it right.
Yes, that's me.
Oh, wonderful.
She gave us a That's a Raven there.
We haven't been able to make any progress on our collaboration recently. We've made many suggestions, but Miss Anis thought that those ideas were too simple and wouldn't be effective in training the mind.
These early learning toys are meant to help the academia train future researchers, after all. If they're too simple, then how are they any different from regular toys?
But if they're too complicated, not only will they be expensive to produce considering our production capabilities, but they won't have much broad appeal to Sumeru's children either.
So the design can't be too complicated, but it can't be too easy to play with either.
I remember that in your notes. Many contraptions have managed to fulfill complex functions despite using simple parts. Maybe we can do something similar with these early learning toys.
The contraptions in my notes? I didn't create those. I simply took the contraptions in the ruins apart and analyzed them. But now that you mention it, the ruins did have things like that. Do you have a pen, paper, and scissors? I'll make a paper prototype.
Oh my god, okay.
You have an idea already? I suppose
you don't
I
understand who this girl is.
As much of a
you don't understand.
Academia senior researcher. We do have those. Yes, please help yourself.
Such a great soundtrack.
Oh, you're done already?
Let me explain. These 3 thick lines represent 3 poles.
Okay.
These paper strips of varying lengths represent rings of different sizes. They can be slotted onto the poles and stacked up like a tower.
Well, that is easier to make than I expected. So, how is this game played?
That's very simple as well. You just need to shift the tower from this pole to another pole.
Isn't this a little too simple? Even by the standards of an early learning toy, I mean.
Of course, when moving each ring, the paper strips in this case, you must follow one rule. You can only move one ring at a time, and you can't place a bigger ring on top of a smaller one. It's like building a tower. The rings in the 3 poles must be stacked from big to small. I named this toy Pagoda Stack.
Pagoda Stack! Biggest toy of the summer. Everyone wants one at Christmas.
Pagoda Stack.
Yeah. You will sell it.
That sounds way too simple. Even I feel like it's missing something.
I would say, understand who you're talking to.
Give it a try and you'll find out if it's simple or not. I heard from Anis that you find volunteers to try out the toys, right? Why don't we do the same for this game?
It's such a simple toy. There's no
Try
need
it out.
Mamdu, let's just do as she says.
Okay, then.
There's number of volunteers and Faruzan explains the rules to them. This is really cool. Oh my god, this is so cool.
You can all give it a try. Let's see who's able to move the tower to another pole in the smallest number of steps.
You called everyone here for such a simple toy?
The fact that they keep saying simple toy makes it seem like this is going to be very difficult for one of these kids.
It doesn't look like it'll take that many steps.
Okay.
Come on, we all promised to help Mr. Momdu test out the new toys. He said he'd give us new Genius Invocation TCG cards.
So they were lured in by the promise of a different toy.
Ugh, fine. Let's get this over and done with so we can head back and play cards.
The children start to play with the pagoda stack.
Done. It took me 19 steps.
Oh, well, sorry, 18 is the record.
Huh? It took me over 20 steps.
Yeah, 18.
I only needed 18
Actually, it's 17.
steps.
I'm trying to hype up this toy as being less simple than it is.
Not bad. Looks like you're all familiar with the rules now. Then let's increase the difficulty. The next tower will be 5 layers tall. Now then, give it a shot.
See, like, I love the way we started this off by saying she has no students, but now look at this, like, you know, she actually is very good, like, with, I guess, teaching people.
Wait,
there's more?
Well, since we're already here, why don't we just give it a try?
That's always the way.
An extra layer shouldn't make it that much harder, right?
No, that's always the way when you, like, try out a toy, right? Or, like, or you're coming, it's like, okay, it's like, oh, I'm just going to the party for 2 minutes. And you go to the party and you're like, well, I'm here, I'll stay for a bit longer. Okay, I'll stay a bit longer. And you end up being there all night. This is really cool.
What's going on? I've already moved over 30 steps, but I'm still not done yet.
Yeah, the record is 30, so.
I'm almost done. Looks like I'm the faster one this
See, look, they're starting to enjoy it as well.
Done. It took me 35 steps.
What? How?
And again, it's probably like good for their minds as well.
This pagoda stack toy is pretty fun to play with.
Good. We'll try it one final time. This time, we'll add 2 more layers, making 7 layers in total.
Now, this is going to take them like 50 steps.
Momdu, we've still got quite a few paper strips here. Why don't you give this a go as well?
Do you need that many steps for something this simple? Let me try.
Madam Faruzan, allow me to try it as well.
You were looking at it quite seriously just now. Are you starting to understand the principles involved?
I think so.
I don't, but I'll just accept it.
If you want to test out your hypothesis, you'll just have to play and find out.
Got it.
Ah, we don't have enough paper strips left for you, Traveler. However, by the looks of things, you seem to have the game figured out.
Somewhat.
Why don't you guess what the lowest number of steps needed to solve a 7-layer pagoda stack is?
Okay. The last one was 35 steps. For a 5. So I'm guessing it can't be too high or too low. So I want to say 108 steps. Wait. 18. 35. Wait. 18. That's nearly double. Nearly double. So if we go with 35... No, that won't work. I'm going to say 108.
What a shame. You were close. However, you did well for someone seeing pagoda stacks
What is the
for
answer?
First time. Let's see how well they do then.
If I move this small ring...
They're getting so into it.
Then the big one won't be able to go on top of it. Oh, this is going to take more steps than I expected.
I've lost count of how many steps I've taken. Can I restart?
It's got a lot harder.
Yeah? Yeah, it's probably, again, like the 5 on seemed pretty difficult. How many steps is it going to take, though?
I solved it.
Oh, okay.
Madam Faruzan,
My bad.
It takes 127 steps in total.
That many? But there are only 7 layers.
For every extra layer in the pagoda stack, the move order you need to consider becomes much more complex, and the number of steps required will at least double.
More accurately, It will require double the steps, plus 1 each time. You did well. You didn't underestimate the principles behind it just because it's an early learning toy.
Yeah.
The complexity of any given contraption isn't determined by the number of parts it has. The way the parts interact and the rules behind how it operates are important too.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
No
And so
wonder
like it's
you
going
emphasized in your notes that no contraption should ever be underestimated.
Exactly. And also like I think like I'm saying exactly as if I'm the smart one. I'm just going on what they're saying and agreeing what they, you know what I mean? No, it's like more just like again, like it makes sense that they're doing this type of thing if this is what it helps with, especially if they're trying to nurture future researchers and you know, I guess inventors.
I see. So even a simple toy can become complex with the right set of rules.
That's right. The rules used for Pagoda Stack are the simplest kind when it comes to ancient contraption making techniques. I could spend some time picking out all those machines that do something similar and write you a reference book. Once that happens, you can give the volunteers the reference book and paper prototypes and find out which toy is the most popular.
Do you have any other toys?
Oh, did you enjoy that? Did you like that?
Yeah. When can we play with them?
Oh my god, okay.
In about 2 days or so, I think. Anise, if you're free,
This is really
can
sweet.
you help me with the illustrations for the reference book?
Of course. I'd be honored.
2 days should be enough for us to find more volunteers. Then we can organize a huge conference here, at which we can announce which toy we'll be making.
Should I come back in 2 days then?
You'd be most welcome. We need more people to get a healthy range of opinions. The more, the merrier.
So I feel like each different hangout we've been doing, like the first hangout was just to show like the kind of like more casual Merriam side and how she like sees like, I guess like the transition of not only just linguistics, but like popular culture as she has gone on through 100 years. Then showing how her life has affected other people because she was gone for 100 years. And now you're seeing the other side of her that is different from just the 100 years thing. It's just how her talent as a researcher, as a member of the academia. I think it's really good what they've done here.
Thank you for coming here with me today. I'll walk back with
I think
you.
they did a fantastic job. Right? I really feel like, how do you guys feel about this hangout? Because to me, this is like one of the best. But then again, I look at all the hangouts and I'm like, oh my god, that's incredible. That's incredible. I love that one. I love that one.
I'll be going then. Say hi to Tainari and Kale for me if you can. Once everything here is settled, I'll make my way over to Pardis DI
Sure.
as quickly as I can.
I thought she was gonna be really mean, but she's actually like very attentive. About Anise.
Anise. We haven't had much time to get to know each other, but she seems like a good kid. She's able to calmly figure out the basic principles behind something without being influenced by others. I'll do my best to teach her over the next few days. Still, how much she learns will really depend on her.
Why don't you take her on as a student?
Well, her interest lies in the application of mechanisms. I do have some old knowledge to share, but if we think about the future, it's easier for her to learn the things she's interested in if she stays in Kasharawar. My research into mechanisms is, in a sense, a side effect of my research into ancient texts.
I can't get over how much of a sweetheart she looks like.
If she becomes my student to learn how to make modern contraptions, it wouldn't benefit either of us in the long run.
I mean, yeah, I hadn't considered all this because again, it's Faruzan's brain, you know?
However, if
You can
she
tell it's a
develops an
100-year-old
interest in deciphering
brain
ancient texts
that
over
hasn't
these next 2
deteriorated.
days, that would change things. If I successfully poach a student, those young punks at Haravatat will have one less reason to cut my budget.
There we go.
Perhaps if this collaborative project goes smoothly, I can even ignore Haravatat and ask for a higher budget directly from the academia.
Yeah, and about that collaborative project.
Oh, I could come up with lots of ideas. With Anise's help, 2 days will be enough for our work.
I love this.
However,
I freaking love
I'm
it.
still undecided as to the style of the reference
Like-
book's text and illustrations.
I could listen to, even though like I don't understand half of some of the stuff she says sometimes about these mechanisms, right? Because a lot of it is like meant to be a tiny bit complicated sometimes, not all the time, sometimes easy to understand. I could still listen to her for hours. Try to become accurate and detailed, try to keep it simple and fun, yeah.
You're right. If no one understands the reference book,
But that's the thing,
it doesn't matter how detailed it is.
Yeah, but I could listen to her talk about all this stuff for hours. I think she's great.
It's better to make it simpler and fun so that children will be interested in the subject.
And Calvin.
It'll also make it easier for me to recruit students in the long run.
But you guys are always very nice though in the comments. You know, I say like, oh, make it simple for Calvin. You guys are always like, oh, Calvin, like, I love how like invested you are in this and stuff like that. It always makes me smile because it's like, man, like, it's easy to be invested in Genshin. It's so good. And I'm so happy that I'm able to do that with you guys because like I feel the same way when I look in the comments and I see you guys invested in the story. It means the world to me.
Thank you. I'll take your opinion into account. See you in 2 days.
Give me 3 days. No, give me 2. I'll be back in 2. I'll be back in 2 days, okay? Look at that. Look at that 2 days stretch. This is also our first. Is this our first hangout of Sumeru? There's not actually a lot of hangouts compared to what they were. Inazuma had like a lot of hangouts. Inazuma had a lot of hangouts. So did Liyue. This scares me sometimes, man, when we just pass the time because like I've become so like in love with Genshin and its people and its world and like the time I spent here that when I skip forward 2 days even like in this game, I'm always like, oh man, I just missed out on 2 days. You know, even though like that's the whole point. It's like we're supposed to come back here 2 days.
Oh, you're here. We're just starting to set up the venue.
Cool.
We've called up everyone we possibly could have. This is going to be quite the event.
My masterpiece is going to be exhibited after all. Let's see what the Academia shall say about it this time. And if we activate this little mechanism just like that, a Sumeru rose will appear at the top of the cane.
Oh, I see.
They're so interested in this stuff now.
I thought it came out of thin air. It's amazing.
If the mechanism was bigger, you could make a rabbit appear, right?
Okay, we gotta do it now.
Then you can't use a cane. Could you switch it out with a hat or something?
They're so interested.
You're
Look at this, it's working.
Creatively. Not bad.
And they're thinking about everything and the different applications you could use. Oh my god.
Look at the next page. If you fold an origami bird like this, it'll fly further and more stably.
Whoa. You can make a mechanism using just a piece of paper?
The voice acting for the kids is very good too.
The principles at play are even more important than the parts that make up a mechanism.
You're being a teacher, Faruzan. You're being a teacher.
These are pretty cool. I'm tempted to try them out.
I'm not that interested in toys, but if they'll be beneficial
Heck yeah.
for children's development.
Everyone, we have paper prototypes and craft materials that you can use to make your own toys. Come try them
Look
out.
at that little hand motion.
This is such a well-prepared event. I'll give it a go.
But we want to play too.
Yeah, let the kids play first.
It's fine. We have a lot of paper prototypes and craft materials.
The fact
All
that the kids
feedback
like it
is
so much that
also
they're like
welcome.
complaining that they might not get to play is the best thing ever. It's so good. The popular and lively event continues. So happy for you, Faruzan.
Oh, my origami bird flew further this time.
Professor Faruzan, how can I make mine fly further?
Oh my god, they're thinking about the changes.
Just madam will do. Maybe in the future, you may indeed get the chance
They called her
to
professor. I didn't pick it up. They called her professor.
You may wish to pay attention to these few details. Here, for example. All right. Try it again.
Wow! It really did fly farther!
Madam Faruzan, will we learn origami at the Academia?
Of course you will. If you become a researcher, you can explore any field you like to your heart's content. In the future, if you want, you can even become one of my students.
Just hearing her say the word students as well.
But Mom and Dad said that there are 6 Darshans in the Academia. Wait, was it 7? Which Darshan teaches about mechanisms in origami?
Well, in this case, it wouldn't be Haravatat.
I know. We need to choose Kasharawar.
Huh?
I want to attend Kasharawar in the future and fold even better origami birds.
I want to make even more awesome mechanisms!
Actually, the other Darshans do have their own specialties too. For example, Haravatat specializes in... Pay attention, children.
Oh god.
Children.
Have a look at that. It looks like recruiting students might be an issue.
How did this happen? What if we end up in a darshan we don't like?
They're already thinking of this.
Then we won't get to learn about the things we do like? No, that won't happen. Take me, for example. I'm a researcher from Haravatat, but I research mechanisms. See? The only person able to restrict your curiosity as a researcher is you.
Oh, yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
You're so good at this.
Not really. Huh. It's all right. You still have a long road ahead of you. Now, do you want to learn about some other machines?
I'm so happy.
Let me tell you a story about pressure-based mechanisms and elemental monuments.
I'm so happy for her. Oh my god. Holy.
Now, this is what I call a moment of solitude.
Yeah. That is the best image I've ever seen in my life. It's so good how they were like listening to her and and again what she wanted. They wanted to like learn more. They want to learn how they can make things faster. And that's like what like it is. Like that's what like the researching thing is. Like it's the same with like anything like that. It's like, hey, like it's once you get them, you know, she got them grasped. She like grasped their Oh, I have to go to the other invitation. She like grasped their attention and they wanted to learn more about the stuff. Because again, it's just like, okay, like they first were like, okay, oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? Oh, and okay, I can. And they saw other people getting into it and they're like, okay, maybe we could do this even further and we can get this even further. You know, like if I can make my airplane fly even further. Like such a simple, tiny thing, right? But she's so good at it. She's so good at it.
I'll be going then. Say hi to Tainari and Kale for me if you can. You want to ask why I'm unwilling to join them, yes? Putting aside the fact that they're too full of themselves, I actually have no issue with their research methodologies and approach.
Okay.
After all, knowledge is either right or wrong. Superiority and inferiority do not come into the conversation. All researchers are just doing their best to shed light on the unknown in their respective fields of expertise.
I do like the way she always thinks about this, like the idea it's like, hey, there's no one superior to anyone else. Like, and like even the way she talks about how like everyone should get a chance to do research like this as well.
No matter what corner of the unknown they shed light on, it's a step forward for us all.
Then why do you refuse to join them?
Because I believe wholeheartedly in that principle. Even if the others call my research useless, as long as the knowledge I gain from it is accurate, it could become useful in the future.
You've proven it in this entire hangout.
In the end, useful and useless are concepts that shouldn't be used to evaluate knowledge. When I first started deciphering ancient documents, I didn't think about how it'd be useful to Kasharawar. That's why there's no need for me to join them to do useful research. I'd rather stay in Haravatat. It's much more convenient for me to access the materials I need for my research here. Still, the funding that Kasharawar has offered
And it comes back to funding again.
to get in Haravatat. Perhaps if this collaborative project goes smoothly, I can even ignore Haravatat and ask for a higher budget directly from the academia.
Well, do you have any ideas?
Oh, I could come up with lots of ideas. With Anissa's help, 2 days will be enough for our work. However, I'm still undecided as to the style of the reference book's text and illustrations.
Try be accurate and detailed, so it's going to be like the complete opposite.
You're right. Explanations are a core part of early developments, too. By using detailed and accurate illustrations, we can impart knowledge more effectively. It would also make it easier for me to recruit students. Thank you. I'll take your opinion into account. See you in 2 days.
Okay. So we have to wait 2 days again, but this time it's going to be more accurate and detailed. This probably, again, like, I think what happens all the time with these stories is that, like, we always end on, like, maybe one that's, like, the most anticlimactic one, but it's okay. Like, I feel like once you get the heavier stories out of the way, it's pretty cool too, you know? just to go back up here again. Yeah, I wonder how it's going to turn out differently this time with this. Because, like, it was such a really fun ending last time with the kids. I wonder what's going to be different this time.
Oh, you're here.
We've called up everyone we possibly could have.
My masterpiece is going to be exhibited after all. Let's see what the academia shall say about it this time.
Yeah, get them, Faruzan. Get them all. But I wonder will people enjoy it as much?
To sum up, the 24 forms of pressure-based puzzle mechanisms were used in various ruins. All right, let's go to the next page.
It feels like I'm in
I'll
class.
explain the base layer design of elemental monuments.
Again, I could listen to her talk about this if she wants to. Yeah, it's not going to be very... Yeah, it's the opposite.
I'm falling asleep.
Because we saw it with the kids. Like, the kids were so interested in it last time, you know?
I don't understand any of it at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, we had to pick a different choice here, you know? We had to pick a different choice. The other choice was immaculate. Oh, no, he's asleep.
Are these really toys?
They sound a bit too dangerous to buy for children.
Oh.
Well, we've prepared paper prototypes for everyone. If you're interested in the mechanisms Madame Faruzan's talked about, you're more than welcome to try them out.
Oh, this is no fun. Can I try
Oh,
another
no.
toy?
I want to go home and play Genius Invocation TCG.
We always end on, like, the worst one. We always do it.
Forget it. I don't think anyone would be interested.
I should go home and take care of my children.
I should go... Imagine that. Instead of playing a game, I should go home and take... Well, honestly, like, you probably should. If your children need taken care of.
Forget about getting opinions from others. No one even wanted to stay and try them out.
I'm sorry. I think we miscalculated.
Yeah, it was my suggestion. I must apologize too.
No, you simply gave suggestions. I was the one who decided to follow through. Anise, too, was only following my instructions. I will find a way to make up for this error. Please, give me some time. I'll write another reference book.
Excuse me, but are you the one who wrote this reference book?
Yes.
This pose, I can't get over how sweet she looks. I will never get over
You're
it.
that man mountain who was in the crowd just now.
Do I stand out that much? Well, I guess I don't look like someone who'd have anything to do with toys. Let me introduce myself. I'm Kamal, the branch master of Sumeru's Adventurers Guild.
What's the branch master doing here? Were you looking for us, or did something happen?
I came to Port Ormos to visit some old friends. On the way over, I saw the booklet you were handing out, so I came to take a look. Can you print a few more copies of this booklet and sell them to the Adventurers Guild?
Oh, see, there's a market for everything.
Could you make
You know?
full-fledged models of those paper prototypes
Okay.
and sell them to us as well?
Look, Faruzan, there's a market for everything.
What does the Adventurers Guild want with these toys?
You may see them as toys, but to adventurers who need to deal with all sorts of machines and contraptions within ancient ruins, this booklet is a true treasure. We have many members who can't read, so books are of little use to them. What they know of handling mechanisms has been learned solely through word of mouth. Even if the academia granted public access to all their books, there are people who can't use them.
Ah, and our booklet is practically all pictures.
There you go. Actually, very sweet.
Well, it is designed for children.
It might be a bit too difficult for children, but it's perfect for adventurers. Also, those paper strips, you called them paper prototypes? If you can make wooden versions for demonstration purposes, even the most illiterate person would be able to
This
follow
is
along
actually
and
not a bad ending at all. I thought it was going to be a bad ending, but it's actually really sweet.
If we can supply a model set for each branch, and if each adventurer carries a booklet with them, then ruin exploration will become much safer.
You really think so? I mean, yes. I always knew it. Knowledge will always be needed, one way or another.
Making models of contraptions for the Adventurers Guild? To be honest, that sounds like a good avenue to explore to me.
Will there be an issue with the academia?
We'll probably have to send in a separate application, but it shouldn't be an issue. After all, this concerns safety during the exploration of ruins. It's a problem that the academia is actually trying to address as well.
Then let's cut to the chase and discuss the details of our first order.
Oh, this is so
the
cool.
amount we're offering to pay in advance is this much.
Oh, you like that? Look at this 100-year-old sweetheart. Oh my god, this is the last. You know what? I'm up for it. Look at this. She fainted. What we learned about Faruzan is that she's a sweetheart.
Are correct. Wanwan Bookhouse is due to receive a batch
You're right,
of new
Xingqiu.
releases today.
You're right.
Might we add a small detour to
Always
our adventure?
Xingqiu, always. No, absolute sweetheart. Even if it's a fake faint, I don't care. She's such like a smart person. Yeah, very forceful and very like, into their own ideas and like, kind of like, very, what's the word? Yeah, persistent is the word. Persistent is the word. But I think that she is also like just really sweet and really kind and knowledgeable and uses that knowledge to want to share with other people. And now she's making money off it too. What an absolute sweetheart. I think we got some stuff here as well, by the way. Really, I actually had a lot of fun with it. A lot of fun with that, guys. Like, that's like the type of hangout that like really amazes me. But then again, that always seems to happen with, we don't have any attachments, okay. It happens with all of these hangouts that I do in this game. Like, I'll be like, oh, it just seems like a simple hangout. And it was for a bit. Like, the first one was definitely more of a simple one. And then you get to learn so much about Faruzan as you're going forward. Really excited. I can't wait to do more of these Sumeru quests. And I can't wait to learn more about, maybe, I don't know if Faruzan will show up again. I really don't. But we had a cool story quest this week. We had a cool time with the R&R. We were really, and we also had like a cool hangout. We are really engrossing ourselves inside Sumeru. The last portion of it was like less about like the emotions of it and more just like like it was like kind of a side, like felt like a side quest, I guess. But I really did enjoy it. And I loved how Faruzan was able to like engross those kids and then also obviously do something really nice for for the people who, like, illiterate people. Like we thought, Calais was illiterate at some point as well, which is nothing wrong with it. There's nothing to be ashamed of that. And it's a good way for people to learn, especially for people that probably don't have the resources to learn, to be able to still use those pamphlets. Such a nice idea. Thank you to Typhara2, Jamie Bull, Johnny the Banana, the Ghost of Inazuma, Felicitas Felix, Escott Ewald, Radish, Anusa, Shabata Bread, Malcolm Day, Death Trap, and Links Marky. And guys, I will see you guys very soon. Xingqiu, you haven't done the thing in so long. Do you want to do the thing? Perfect.